Morning.
Showtime.
Morning.
All right, we got the intro rolling in the show here. Patrick's got his headset on. He is chipper, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed this morning. And Bill and I are here. And Jen's got things under control. Perfect Strangers theme song. Okay.
Good start. You're up.
Yes, Perfect Strangers. We'll take it. Somebody put this, I saw this on Twitter somewhere, the actual video. I had forgotten completely that it's both Cousin Larry leaving his home, I guess, a relatively normal American home, and then Balky leaving his goat farm. Is that what was going on, dude?
Pretty much.
I don't know who either of them are. I just know it makes me feel good.
That's all I know. Monica will do on a Tuesday morning. Hey, thanks for waking up with us. From a Gamecock sports perspective, not a ton to update you on from yesterday. Do have Gamecock baseball set for today, 4 o'clock start time against Winthrop, kind of the appetizer for sure before this weekend. And Carolina Clemson. Maybe that's what we'll get into, a bit of a rivalry discussion today as college baseball cranks up in a big way. Patrick was updating me on some sports/entertainment news, and you headlined with what this morning in our pre-show meeting, sir?
I just gave you like 10 things. Which one do you want me to mention?
What did you headline with? That's the key word there. You and Bill, really.
Wizards winning 5 in a row. Terps winning 4 in a row. Cavs winning 3 of 4.
So you were saying so much stuff, you don't even remember what you said first. Is that?
No, there were so
headline.
many things.
What did you headline with?
Was it the Aaron Rodgers one?
Headlined with, yes.
Aaron Rodgers is engaged to Shailene Woodley.
That's like 3 weeks old news.
Well, technically, but it was officially confirmed by one of the parties.
Confirmed.
Yeah. Shailene Woodley was on Jimmy Fallon last night, who is just an awful late-night host. I'm sorry. He's so annoying.
Wow. There is the take of the morning. It took us a minute to get to it, but there we go.
He's so annoying. He just fake laughs so hard at everything, and that's just so cringeworthy. I can't stand it. But, yeah, he did an interview with Shailene Woodley, who did confirm that they've been engaged for a little while. So
I assume that when, Rodgers mentioned it, like the day before the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, and then weirdly wasn't pressed on it. Like, nobody asked him to follow up. They're like, did we hear that right? And just kind of moved on. But
you had done a TMZ segment a while ago about the Aaron Rodgers love life.
Yeah, and there's also rumors that she met him through Danica Patrick.
Yeah.
But then in her interview last night, she said that they met during the pandemic, and so she hasn't been able to go to a football game and has never watched a football game. So I don't know. Somebody's story is not matching up here.
Interesting.
I don't care to do the digging, but
Woodley is. Like, when he told me that, I was like, I think I know who that is.
I think you'd recognize her, but probably wouldn't have seen her in anything.
I've forgotten, but when he told me, I looked her up. I think she's a lot younger, correct?
She's almost 30. He's 37.
Okay, not tremendous.
She was in like the Divergent movies.
Yeah, she's in the Divergent series, which was kind of like a teen movie, series. The books were really big. I know. Never seen it. I've never seen them though. And The Fault in Our Stars, and there's a new show on HBO.
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies, yeah. Big Little Lies is apparently huge, I think.
And early in her career, she was in something that was on ABC Family before that was Freeform. There was something called something about Secret Life of the Teenage something, but basically she got pregnant, and Molly Ringwald was in this show, and essentially kind of a good little show. But.
So happy for them.
That Jen's TV knowledge is just the depth of the TV knowledge is impressive too.
It is pretty impressive.
Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Brandon says Patrick polarizing the morning discussion in record time with the Jimmy Fallon comment. See, Patrick, you don't even remember Jimmy Fallon on Saturday Night Live, do you?
No, I mean,
You only know him as a late night host.
essentially, I mean, I know he was on Saturday Night Live, and I've seen Saturday Night Live skits. I mean, he's the drummer in the More Cowbell skits. Like, I've seen Jimmy Fallon skits, but
Well, then that's
Right.
that's all
I wasn't watching
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live when he was on the cast. No.
That's all I'm saying. Chris he's
correct.
with you this morning on the Facebook live stream. Says, morning, guys. I'm with Patrick. Fallon is horrible. Conan is so much better.
No.
I mean, to be honest, I don't like any of the late night hosts. I actually find them all annoying, and it's
really?
very hard to watch. I used to actually watch it back in the day, but knowing that the conversations are fake and have been rehearsed, and they just play them off like they're real, just something about that irks me, and I just can't get into it. And it's just all so phony that it just really infuriates me now.
I gotta admit, Conan much better than Fallon. Conan, I can definitely sit down and watch. The rest of them, I could.
There's so many too,
Yeah, I could take or leave the rest of them.
I could
used to
never tell
watch-
you what network any of them are on.
I used to watch Conan a lot before we started doing the early show. Conan, I'd usually catch the first 30 minutes of or so. And
Is he on CBS still, or is that?
I think
changed,
he's
or-
going. If he hasn't gone to
He's done.
HBO, he's off. Like I think not having the studio, he cut out a lot, and they've really trimmed that back. But yeah, Conan ended up. I used to think he was annoying, and then he ended up growing on me significantly, and I liked Conan. I'm with you on Fallon. Fallon just seems too giggly for me.
Yes,
It's always.
nobody thinks what they're saying is as funny as Jimmy Fallon's pretending to think.
And with Conan, the only benefit that came out of him was Triumph becoming Insult Dog.
Also hilarious, but no, there was a lot of benefits of Conan. Conan had a very good show. Calm down over there.
The only benefit, man, we are bringing it strong. The morning show in Columbia, South Carolina, calling out the national television hosts of late night TV.
That's right.
Whew. Look at this.
I love
Just
movies,
lighten
but I hate
things up.
actors. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
There's the
Anonymous
hot-
Raj, Conan is the best, hands down. Billy, Conan and Fallon cannot touch David Letterman. He was the man when it came to late night after Johnny Carson. Fallon, because of the music. Anonymous texter hits us up. Wow. This is a generational thing, right? Patrick's generation, he's 25 years old. Late night TV is not really a thing. It's
It's not important anymore.
medium.
Yeah.
It used to be the only way I would hear from these guys. Like, I remember I was an Arsenio Hall guy. That's how old I am. I remember Conan being on NBC after Carson, right? He took over for Letterman's spot. I remember when Letterman was not even the 11:30 guy; he was the 12:30 guy. So to have seen this is one thing that does make me feel my age this morning at 43. I feel like I've seen kind of the heyday of the late night show, because I remember Johnny Carson early on, and then now it's Patrick at 25 years old hating every single late night host.
Well, I love
It's
the
a
history of
weird
it.
medium now.
Because I did watch that same Comedy Store documentary that I talked about before. They talk about how the old guys would go and you'd go on Johnny Carson, and the next day you're recognized on the street by everyone. Like, you're a household name almost. And you hear younger comics talk about, even more recently with Conan, they got their big break by doing the 1 or 2 minute sets on the Conan show, and those would give people their breakthroughs. And now it's just all late night television is whatever actor has a movie coming out next, the studio makes them show up and do their little press tour, and they tell a fake story, and bada bing, bada boom, it's over, and it stinks.
It's definitely no early game appearance, that's for sure, where you can sit with us and we can have a very civil and entertaining conversation, multifaceted, deep and lighthearted, all at the same time. That's
And
what
it
we
means
do here.
something, because we only do it like once a month.
An actual interview.
One guest a month on average, maybe less.
Somewhere around
I don't
there.
know. But we maxed out. What this month alone, we've had Pete Limbo, Stuart Lake, Skylar Mead, Tim's buddy from LA,
Jason Harrell.
Top
Mhm.
Shot. Yep.
You guys saw Top Shot over the weekend too, right? By the way, right? Apparently it blew up
Took off.
a little bit. Set the record.
They
Patrick's
still haven't
so
released.
bitter.
They still haven't released a new pack since then. I don't know what I don't know what's going on there.
So if you guys don't even know what the heck we're talking about, check out the podcast page. Jason Harrell is his name. NBA Top Shot is the thing. It's another thing that makes me feel my age this morning. No mention of Jay Leno, KT says. That's correct. I think I don't think he is beloved by anyone when it comes to the late night stuff. I've never heard anybody say
there are definitely Leno people, right?
God.
Leno was just disliked because he took over for Carson. Like that was
He was the
simply.
guy who followed the guy.
I thought Letterman followed.
Letterman wanted that job. That's another reason people
Oh,
don't
so
like
Leno had it first, and then they didn't give it to Letterman, and Conan was
Right.
somewhere mixed in between those two. I don't know. I know
exactly.
There's
Yeah,
a movie on the. In there, is it a movie or a television?
There's all kinds of stuff.
I've seen like a special on it. I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it might have been one of those the 90s or CNN did those documentaries, the 80s and the 90s. I think it might have been one of those.
There's a lot of late night show stuff. So we got on this because of the news of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that Danica Patrick stuff is not that old, right?
I don't think
They
so.
dating like this time last year, and now he's engaged. Something
so.
like that. Good luck to Aaron Rodgers. And how do you say your name? Shailene Woodley? Is that right?
I think so. It's spelled like Shailene, so that's how I said it. I could be wrong.
So Patrick, are
Probably
you
not.
saying you said you love movies but you hate actors? Are you saying you would have discouraged Aaron Rodgers from getting involved with someone involved in that trade?
No, I mean Aaron Rodgers going into show business. He'll be hosting Jeopardy pretty
And he
soon.
dated an actress before he dated Danica, so.
Yeah, Olivia Munn.
It's true. He's got experience there. Is that what you're saying?
Aaron Rodgers has only dated famous people, apparently.
Yeah, that's the way I would do it too if I was famous. It's very smart strategy on his part.
That's right. I forgot about this. Clowning was on Jimmy Fallon, and anonymous texter hits us up. Only text we've ever received from this listener. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
That was in all Puma gear, I believe, right? After being the number one pick, or maybe right, I think it was right after being the number one overall draft pick. I
don't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah? We need to look that up maybe and refresh your memory. Remember, Conan took over this night show, and then it got taken away from him, and Leno got it back. Chris hits us up. Yeah, that was all part of the deal. That was a mess. And that was also then Leno did a 10 o'clock show, I think maybe in the interim, and then it was Conan's ratings weren't so good, so they gave Leno the show back. What a mess the late night TV is, especially these days, especially for an audience like 25-year-old Patrick. When's the last time you had a cord, sir?
Personally?
Yeah.
Since I've paid for it? Never. I've never paid for it.
You did that, like, just the disdain.
Two things just happened there. Like I was just scrolling through something. I saw somebody holding up a phone that has a phone cord. So when you said a cord, my first thought was when you meant a phone cord and not like cable. I know because it's cutting the cord. I get that. But when you first said that, I thought you were referring to a phone that actually had a cord into the wall. Maybe that's the question we should ask this morning. What should be brought back? The phone cord, late night television?
I don't think anybody thinks the phone cord should be brought
You got to
back.
bring one back. Well, trust me, if you've got kids and your kids go wandering off to the room, of course, I don't know how many people have an in-home, an at-home. Do any of y'all have an at-home phone?
We call that a landline.
Never will.
Landline, whatever we're calling it these
My parents
days.
still have a landline. I think it's only for collect calls and the grandparents who
Collect
haven't
calls?
changed their.
Whoa, you
or
can do
what's it?
collect calls these days?
Not like the 1-800 numbers, whatever.
Oh, so basically you get a repository to just dump off.
Like I'm
Spam
pretty sure
calls.
they don't even acknowledge that the phone's ringing because they know that's gonna be from an 800 number that's just got their information from
I mean, solicitors. Is that what we're saying?
solicitors. Yeah, but if they go like sign up or something and it says, hey, you need to put your phone number down, they'll just put the landline number, and that way their cell phone won't be bothered. And then if it's like a Sunday night, they'll know it's the grandparents because they don't know how to plug in a different number. They only know the house number. So
What a start.
for
to the
solicitors
show,
and the
man.
grandparents. Yeah.
I had no idea we would go down this path. It's part of the fun. Glad you're part of the show as well. 803-404-6100. You can call or text if you would like to join. David hits us up with a random question. It makes me smile this morning. Anyone know how Eastern Illinois looked?
It's not that random. It's who South
Nobody
Carolina
really
plays.
care though. They didn't play
It's
him,
who
did
South
they?
Carolina, it's who South Carolina plays to start the season. I'm looking. I'm on
They
it.
have not played yet, so I don't know how
I get
practice is
why
going,
he
but they
brought
haven't
it
played
up, but at Tuesday morning on 6:18 in the morning, appropriate of nothing we're talking about. I just find that hilarious that David. That's
he might be
David's
kidding. Who knows?
mindset.
But he did text. We can go back to his text from last night that he texted Heath's show. I can tell what he's talking about Deshaun Watson and the Panthers.
Okay.
You guys see that Peter King proposed to trade for Deshaun Watson from the
Yeah,
Panthers?
I saw that. I heard Jade.
I think it's
you
dumb,
talking
but
about
the
it.
Panthers would take it in a heartbeat if I was the GM. So
Okay,
David
I need
Lee
to-
there.
I need to hear
You
about
would tell.
this.
Wait a minute. This is interesting. Can we wake Heath up? Because Heath was very
Who
anti
doesn't
taking
sleep?
this trade.
Who's up?
I'll argue with
Who's up?
Heath about this right now.
He's asking. Just the answer is the football opener for Eastern Illinois was postponed this past weekend.
Good to know. You guys are all over it there. Who knows where else we'll
We've
go?
covered
I
a
wanna hear more
lot
about
in this first segment.
They play
Sure.
Southeastern Missouri on Sunday.
You guys fighting to be the Eastern Illinois correspondent on the show? Is that what we're doing right now? Are you guys competing?
I think we're probably reading the same article.
No, I just typed in Eastern Illinois football and saw SEMO on the
Yeah,
schedule.
I'm
for
reading
Sunday.
I went to their official team website, and it shows a incredibly snowy field from this past weekend, and it just says that the UT Martin Eastern Illinois originally scheduled contest for Sunday, February 21st, has been postponed due to the impact of recent winter storms.
Bummer.
KT hits us up, and he's a little worried about the weather for this weekend in Carolina and Clemson baseball. So I'll give you some heads up on that. It's Tuesday, so I don't get too involved in the weekend forecast. Bill, I know that's your job as fake radio meteorologist.
And as a person who likes to plan ahead my weekend, yes, both of those. As a person who likes to have a plan on what I'm doing, and fake meteorologist, yes, I try to keep up with the weather.
We'll do that. Plus, that Deshaun Watson proposed trade that is making waves, and I feel like we've been talking about this for a while, and we will continue to talk about it because it is the story, I think, in the NFL, outside of Aaron Rodgers now being engaged to the actor Shailene Woodley. You're listening to the early game. It's 107.5 The Game. Ooh, sorry about that.
Crowder. A lot of very good information in that opening segment. We covered a lot of things that you need to be aware of. Let me add some more to that right now. If you're thinking of buying a home or you're thinking about refinancing, it's a great time to do it. The Mortgage Guru is here for you. Not me. That's Jacob Crowder. He's the Mortgage Guru. I'm just kind of the late night talk show host guru, as we learned in the last segment. You don't need my help. You need a Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder, with First Palmetto Bank. Interest rates exceptionally low right now. It is a fantastic time to make a purchase or to refinance, and you don't need to miss a golden opportunity. 803-719-1005. You can email them, the letter J, Crowder, Crowder, at firstpalmetto.com. That phone number again, 803-719-1005. Jacob's helping families save $300, $400, even $500 a month on their mortgage payment if you refinance. And if you're looking to buy a home, you'd be surprised how much home you can get for how little a price right now. Don't wait around. Give the Mortgage Guru a call, 803-719-1005. He's the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder, with First Palmetto Bank.
I hear you, Ben. It has been forever. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. Let me see.
That was an awesome first segment. We couldn't have done much better.
High standards. High standards. So did you have the night off from soccer last night?
Yeah, they canceled it early, and then it ended up being a nice night. So got in a little workout and came home, ate some chickpeas and fixed some tuna, and was watching a fishing show all of the night.
Wow. Big night.
Big night.
Fishing show.
Well, it was about fishing, but it was about this guy, Peter Miller, who travels around, was in all kinds of, it was on Amazon. It was like a 25-minute show, but he would go and eat places and do some extreme sports but mostly fish. It was pretty cool.
Peter Miller.
I had it on in the background. So I'd look up every now and then and kind of watch a little bit of it and then look down.
In reading part of the Shailene Woodley interview, going back to that for a second, it's interesting. Her comment was, I never thought as a little girl I would say, yeah, when I grow up, I'm going to marry someone who throws balls.
Yeah, she really hammered that joke. He can throw them long and far and fast and slow. He can throw balls all different ways. It's like, all right. She definitely. Jimmy Fallon was smacking the table on that one, believe you me.
Patrick, you're leaving out the talent that's associated with Fallon. He just giggles.
Yeah.
You can do almost any voice and impersonation out there.
Yeah, I know. That's why you should just do something other than what he's doing now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not very successful. Good call.
No, yeah, it's not
He's making a
working for him.
boatload of money, but he's quite annoying.
T-Worse or Jimmy Kimmel?
Kimmel.
Kimmel's very.
Kimmel's gotten more annoying in recent years.
Yeah.
Kimmel, when he and who was it? They did that.
Adam Carolla.
The Man Show.
That was wrong, but it was funny. Adam
Carolla.
Adam Carolla, yeah. I've never seen 1 second of it, but I know that they did a show together.
Oh my gosh, I'm so old. That was way before your time, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What was that early 2000s or was that in the late 90s?
That was late 90s. I think it was when I was in college.
Comedy Central.
Yep, I'll have to look that up.
1999 to 2004.
99.
So spanned.
Both.
That was my college.
Kim was hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire now, too.
Oh yeah, we need to get an Alshon, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about Deshaun Watson here, let's also add in Alshon, Jeff. How about that? We might do a sports talk radio show this morning. Yeah.
Alshon will be a quick one. I have no idea what's going to happen to him. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about Michael Pittman basically saying Carson Wentz can't have my jersey number?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I saw that too. Can't have number 11.
Yeah. He's never worn 11 before his rookie year, and he caught 1 touchdown as a rookie. That could be.
Ben, I can't tell you the last time I watched a single segment of late night television, and I loved it.
I recorded it in high school sometimes. I was all into it, and then I realized.
It's all set up.
Yeah. I would take Sports Center and the late night shows every night.
All the late night shows?
No, I would pick one. I would look at the guest lineups because you could look ahead.
Wow. So it sounds like your bitterness is coming that you used to love it, and then
Yeah,
you
I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at myself for buying it the whole time. It was probably a 1 year deal.
What was the breaking point? We need to hear. What happened?
Might have been the Entourage episode where Vinny does the Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
That might have been the one.
I thought that might be it.
Well, we are heading back in, so hopefully the drama wasn't too much for you.
I mean, Johnny Drama they had to settle their beef.
And it went well for them. They got the TV system too. Rufus.
Ezra.
Working out Patrick's just venomous stance against Jimmy Fallon and basically all late night TV hosts now. Working that out on a live video stream, YouTube, Facebook Live, also on Periscope / Twitter, whatever that is exactly. I think you can find us on the station Twitter handle there at 1075 The Game. I'm sitting in my garage. Bill is in his house right off the shores of Lake Murray. Patrick's in his frigid apartment, and Jen is holding things down in the Hardy Chevrolet studios right now. 803-404-6100. We said we were going to get into the proposed Deshaun Watson trade. This became news because Peter King made it yesterday. Is that right? Peter King was once the lead Sports Illustrated writer for the NFL, and now is kind of taking over. Is he doing his own thing? Is he doing?
Yeah, Monday morning quarterback is his thing.
MTV,
I mean,
right?
he's kind of known as. I kind of get annoyed by him because I think he thinks he's more important than football.
Wait a minute. Can we just do what's clearly going to be a 2-minute segment of people who don't annoy you?
Do you want me to run through all of them?
Yeah, that'll be a 30-second segment, I believe. People who
My favorite draft people: Mike Renner, Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler. Those are the main three. I like them.
You just got posters or the big heads up around your room with those three guys?
Well,
okay, wait a second. In order of most disdain, rank these three people associated with the NFL. Actually, maybe we'll go.
Mel Kiper, I hate the most.
Whoa. Okay.
Not even disdain.
You couldn't even get that out there. Okay, so Mel Kiper's number one. What about his sidekick is Todd McShay, and you also have Peter King, and what about Adam Schefter? I feel like these are the leading national voices on ESPN.
Yeah, love Shefty. He's vital. I subscribe to his tweets. I mean, he breaks news. He serves a legitimately important role.
He gets a nickname and likes him.
I like McShay more than Kiper, but less than the other three draft guys I just named. And Peter King, I just think is very he's like that thing that I was talking about with baseball writers. They feel like they're more important than baseball itself, and I think Peter King has that too. But he also is really plugged in, so when he speaks, people listen, and that's why his Deshaun Watson trade proposals drew a lot of interest, even though I don't think there's any shot this particular one is going to happen for the
Panthers. Let's hear it. What are the details?
So he says his proposed trade is, he calls it a 7-for-1 deal. It's going to be first and second round picks this year, first round pick next year, and a third round pick the year after, plus Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's it's too much, way too much
for the Panthers.
Yeah, and that's what the national people do. I feel like just to make headlines, which clearly it's worked.
I don't know. I think that the trade I proposed, 2 1s, 2 2s, plus Chin and Burns, I would take Peter King's trade over that one. That I proposed. Yeah.
Please explain.
Well, because Teddy Bridgewater, who cares? You're getting rid of his money. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't need to be a part of this deal at all. Take him out. Them taking Teddy Bridgewater is a good thing for you because Teddy Bridgewater is not part of your future, and he's going to save you $10 million. I don't know 100% what his cap it is. Robbie Anderson's a big loss, and the only reason the Christian McCaffrey trade hurts you is because you're going to have to eat $17 million this year. But he hasn't even started his extension.
The best running back in football? That has nothing to do with it?
Didn't play last year. He's going to be the highest paid running back in football on the extension that hasn't hit yet.
Wait a minute. I want to come back to that question that Tim just brought up because this is an interesting question to me for NFL. Would you rather have one of the top? Would you say top 2 running backs for McCaffrey in the league? McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have one of the top 2 running backs, or if you can only pick one, do you want a top 2 running back or a top 5 quarterback? to build your franchise around.
That's not even remotely close. I'd rather have a top 10 receiver than a top one or two running back. The running back wasn't
Robbie Anderson a top 10 receiver last year, or pretty close?
He might have been close in terms of stats. They fed him pretty well, but I don't think people actually look at him as a top 10 receiver in football. Nobody does. That'd be foolish. Yeah. He's not a top 10 receiver.
Top 20. Gotta give him top 20, don't you?
Maybe. We'd have to start writing him down at that point, but yeah. I mean, you're talking about, like, he's not. First of all, he's not the best receiver on his team. There's at least two receivers in Tampa Bay that are better than him. Michael Thomas is better than him and didn't play last year, really, because he was hurt. Stats are not.
So Michael Thomas
he's actually not a top 5. He's not a top 5 receiver in his division, and he's actually not close to being a top 5 receiver in his division.
Well, the question is, who can you replace him with?
You can replace him with Will Fuller this year. Or Deshaun Jackson.
If Curtis Samuel is a guy that you can definitely re-sign, if you can re-sign Curtis Samuel and you've got DJ Moore, I'm with Patrick. You're not losing anything at the wide receiver position. Now, you're giving up some draft picks here, so you're talking about mortgaging the future on what you currently have built and then what you can do later in the draft. I don't know, Patrick, you're much better at the salary cap situation there for the Panthers on what they would be able to go out and do by taking on, you said, eating $17 million of Christian McCaffrey's contract plus what you're taking on from Deshaun Watson. So where do they stand on the salary cap situation if this is where you end up going? Because to me, that's what's important. You've got the centerpiece of your franchise. I'm with you. I like the trade. I think if you can sign Curtis Samuel and you've got Moore and Samuel, whether you want to go with Mike Davis or you just want to go back to the scrap heap and pick up somebody to fit the running back position, I'm with you on that. The defense is slowly developing. Can you somehow keep from giving Brian Burns away in this trade? That would be huge. And then you've got a pretty solid foundation set, but you're about a guy or two away, whether it's another guy on defense or another wide receiver to complement Samuel and Moore. But I think you've got it. Part of this trade is a guy that's not even in it, and it's Curtis Samuel, and it's having to re-sign him.
Well, I mean, he's a gadget player. I mean, but to me, the Christian McCaffrey thing should never stop you from trading for a top 5 quarterback who hasn't even approached his prime yet. Like, Christian McCaffrey just missed essentially the entire season, and he hasn't even started his extension yet, which will make him the highest paid running back in the league. I think a major part of Christian McCaffrey getting that deal in the first place, when every big running back deal has been proven to be terrible. I mean, the Rams at the time ate the most dead cap money ever for Todd Gurley. You thought he was the guy that was going to prove that running back contracts were worth it. Ezekiel Elliott was terrible last year. The first year that his offensive line was below average, he was awful. So he proved that it's not worth it. Christian McCaffrey hasn't even started yet. He missed the whole season. So for me, the reason that he got that big deal was because you had new ownership and you had a new whole entire regime, and Christian McCaffrey was going to needed to be the face of the franchise. You needed something. Luke Kuechly just retired. Cam was gone. You needed Christian McCaffrey to sell jerseys, to get people in the stadium. But if you're trading for Deshaun Watson, you don't need that anymore because now you have a face of the franchise. And he, on a $40 million salary, is far more worth it than Christian McCaffrey at 17.5 or whatever that was going to come out to. You're not going to need him. And Mike Davis was more than serviceable last year. You can find a running back anywhere, any year. James Robinson was undrafted and ran for 1,000 yards in Jacksonville with no quarterback and a terrible offensive line. Running backs are a dime a dozen at this point.
How do the Panthers not become the Texans if they do that deal?
Because they still have if they do that deal, they've given up nothing on their defense.
Well, who are you selling me on the defense? Burns and Chin? Shaq Thompson?
Burns, Chin, Derek Brown. Shaq Thompson's still there. Jackson. Dante Jackson. I mean, you've still got money. You can sign a safety. You just drafted a whole rookie class. Like, they're going to get better. The defense is going to get better, undoubtedly. But you're also going to have Deshaun Watson by himself is going to make your offense 10 times better than what it was last year because McCaffrey wasn't even there to begin with. And then him and DJ Moore, that's money.
And then I also think you're talking about the coaching staff. Are you taking Bill O'Brien or Rivera or Matt Rule? Like, I like Matt Rule running that organization better. David Tepper wants a big name guy, and Deshaun Watson fits that. He knows the quarterback.
He said it.
Yeah. And so I'm with you on this. I'm okay with the trade. This is taking your shot. I
I
don't
would say
see
there's
what
no
Christian-
shot that trade actually gets offered, but
You don't
Why
think
would you say
the
that?
Texans will offer that trade?
I don't. Well, I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it would be prudent for the Texans to take that trade. The rumors were that they want 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 young defensive stars, not a quarterback who's never going to be their starting quarterback, a running back who just missed an entire season and is going to be the highest paid running back in the league, and Robbie Anderson, who actually is valuable. But you just had a better version of him in Will Fuller.
Who's going to be their starting quarterback if you trade Watson?
I'm saying Teddy Bridgewater being part of that deal.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you trade Watson, you've got to have a starting
Teddy
quarterback.
Bridgewater's not a starting quarterback. If you trade Watson, you're going to draft a quarterback with the number 8 pick. Or you're going to use that 8 pick to move up and get a quarterback you actually want. Teddy Bridgewater is not a starting quarterback. Like, that's pretty much been proven. The Panthers gave him a shot, and he's just not it.
803-404-6100 if you would like to weigh in. Patrick coming in hot this morning.
Hey.
Frank says, does anyone ever mention that Watson had 2 ACL surgeries? He's a baller, but 1 injury, and you hemorrhaged your team for him. I don't think I don't hear anybody talking about that. It seems like a pretty brutal way to talk about a star quarterback that has shown no signs of
ACL
slowing
ain't what it
down
used
and
to
only
be.
the opposite. Right. I mean, Colin Hill did get on the field last year and didn't show any signs that the 3 ACL injuries that he had was slowing him down. Not that he was a guy that moved around a bunch with the Gamecocks in the pocket, and not that he produced a bunch. It didn't work out, but I don't think it didn't work out because of the 3 ACL surgeries. KT says, to me, that's too much for just one player from the Panthers' perspective. I agree on that one. And I think you're valuing Curtis Samuel way too high in this whole thing.
No, you got to have
Robbie
somebody
Anderson,
to.
Yeah, but you can draft somebody, you can sign somebody else. Curtis Samuel is probably going to be like a $8 million a year player on the open market.
You got to have. Remember now, if you bring in Watson, you've got to have. And this is what Tim just said. How do you keep from becoming the Texans? Well, again, I do like the coaching staff here better, but you still got to have some weapons for him to operate with. You're about to give up. If I think that trade in particular, I clicked off of it, but you're giving up your 1st round pick for the next 2 years. And I think you're giving up your 2nd round pick for the next 2 years, or was it next year you get a 3rd?
Next year it's just the 1.
Okay. All right. Well, I think there was another pick in there, but I thought it was 4 picks, 3 players.
3rd round in 23.
Okay. So I guess my point on that is, like, you still got to go out. You're not a Super Bowl contender just because you make this trade. There are still other pieces to the puzzle that have to be put in place for you to become a Super Bowl contender. And one of those is upgrading the wide receiver position. Now, I've gotten a little bit better at it because I play Austin's video games and see how contracts work and salary caps and all this when you're trying to build a franchise. It's crazy how that – it is funny. You laugh, but, like, for someone like me who's like, oh, this is crazy, the luxury tax and all that stuff. But I say that the guy that we were going to discuss, he's available. I don't know what he'll cost you, and I'm sure we'll get into him in the next segment. He's a kind of a local guy. I don't know what he'll cost you, and does he fit what the Panthers need at the wide receiver position? And that would be
You got
Allison.
him, Deshaun Jackson from the same team. You got Will Fuller, who's already played with Deshaun Watson, who is one of the best deep threats in the league, and ended the season suspended and has been hurt every year of his career. You can probably get him for pretty cheap. They're all better than Curtis.
But the other thing is you're building for probably 3 years from now. This isn't a Tampa Bay Bucs situation. So that's why you don't.
You have to try and get the offensive line secured a little bit so you can protect him and just get through this year.
You don't have to have any coffee this morning, do you?
he's
so fired up. He's so fired up.
Well, also, I feel like this might be the only chance to talk NFL this morning, so I'm trying to get it all out.
Just dominating the airwaves right now.
Why do you feel that way, Patrick?
I don't know. If we get into a Gamecock baseball discussion, I'm going to have to be quiet for a little bit, so just getting it all out. Bill likes to ease into the shows, too. He gets tired in the morning. He hasn't
I get tired in the morning or I show up tired? Which one?
Well, I guess you wake up. I'm
get tired in the morning. I pretty much start.
Well, that's why you guys kind of are on the perfect combination in the morning show. Patrick comes in up here. Bill works his way up as Patrick slides back down. The 8 o'clock hour, obviously, Patrick kind of falls asleep progressively. I think if we looked at the live video stream, it's good to know. No wonder you're getting it all out here, Patrick. 803-404-6100. Bill, you referenced Alshon Jeffrey. Looks his time with Philadelphia is now done. We'll be interested to see where he lands. I think the Panthers could have a shot at him. Kind of a local guy. That's how you refer to him, Bill.
A little bit of a local
Kind of
guy.
a local guy.
Kind of local to Charlotte.
Not far away. Yeah, I think the Panthers missed out on drafting him originally, and he and Sidney Rice, I think, really stick out to me as guys that they could have had for a pretty good bargain coming out of the draft, and they decided to go elsewhere, and I think it was a bad decision there. We'll talk more about Alshon and his NBA future as we roll on this morning. Love to hear from you at that 803-404-6100. You can call or text. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game. Jason already dropped your name a little earlier about the NBA Top Shot, man. And NBA Top Shot season does not end. We all know that. Davey, come on, dude. On Twitter, Mike Davis is a more complete back than Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's just not.
You don't think he's built to be an every down back in the NFL? Come on, Dave. What are you doing? Anthony has sent you a link. What is this link, dude?
It's Clowney on Fallon.
Oh, he ran the 40 with Clowney back in the day? 2014? 7 years ago. Man, I'm old.
Well, wait till you figure out how old Alshon Jeffrey is.
No, thank you. Well, Beamer does talk about recruiting him, right? And he was, I think, a sophomore on that 2010 team. Maybe that was his junior season, right? Or was that the year before he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, where he had beefed up a little bit?
I think.
So I'm going to call him.
Oh, I didn't realize his birthday was a week and a half ago. His birthday is Valentine's Day.
I don't remember that.
Clowney's is.
Isn't that when he committed?
No, Alshon Jeffries is too.
They share a birthday?
That's according to Wikipedia, February 14th.
I'm going to say Alshon is 31 years old.
Yeah, he just turned 31.
You'd be correct.
Did I say Alshon Jeffrey's NBA future? Or is that Eddie being hilarious?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Well, it does say he's an American baseball player on
Nice.
the website, so probably your Wikipedia or something.
Yes, I said NBA. My bad. He's a heck of a basketball player, actually.
There's baseball in here, so yeah, he's obviously a well-rounded athlete.
Everybody knows it except us, I guess.
And with that information, Tim's out. He's like, psh.
Yeah.
Get out while you can.
Self-imposed suspension.
We understand.
And thanks for keeping me straight. No one in the studio listens to me. I know, Craig. I know. Thank you, Chris.
Not to sidetrack the conversation, but later in the show, South Carolina football could get a commitment today. Should get a commitment today.
2022?
Yeah.
Would that be number one?
That would be the first. Well, it obviously would be the first commitment because you've already had one kid commit and then decommit. But yeah, it would be the first. Now it would be the first. What do you say? The only person in the class right now.
Oh, you're talking about Stockton? So it would be Shane Beamer's first commitment, right?
First 2022 commitment. Yep. Yep. Safety.
Jesus.
Anthony Rose.
From where?
Hallandale, Florida. He's South Carolina, Arizona, or Penn State. Everybody's I gotta go back. Maybe it's Arizona or Arizona State.
The kicker, kicker's coming in this year, right? 2021. He's a 2021 guy I saw over the weekend. You see that?
Yeah, preferred Walker.
Yeah.
South Carolina, Penn State, and Arizona State is quite the diverse
combination.
Yeah.
Pick 3 distinct areas in the country.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that at all. He's like, this is the best school that I want to pick. This is my favorite school in the Southeast. This is my favorite school in the Northeast, and this is my favorite school out West. So
if you add Oregon on there, then I'd be really impressed.
Too many kids have Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Clemson in their Final Fours.
Yep.
Not enough have every major region covered.
So Oregon and Nebraska would make that a complete United States map, right? The star.
Yeah. Middle America's kind of left out there, but I don't know. Maybe we could check out Nebraska or something like that. He needs a flyover state included in that mess. We got El Chapo's wife yesterday.
What did you say?
We're going back in?
Yes, we are.
You guys are up.
It is really 4 years now for Alshon Jeffrey in Philadelphia. Man, I feel like he was just basically the only offense for your Chicago Bears, Jen, not too long ago.
I know, we love that.
How old I am. This report coming out from NFL Media, now they're calling it, Ian Rappaport, that Alshon Jeffrey will be released by the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to turn 31 years old. Bill, you just mentioned, I said his NBA future, his NFL future. He had 1 season left on a 4-year, $52 million extension he signed 4 years ago now with the Philadelphia Eagles. 46 career touchdowns between the 5 years with the Bears and 4 years with the Eagles. So now he's going on year number 10 in the NFL. Certainly not the ideal year you want to get a wide receiver. So he's going to be that cagey veteran that catches on somewhere. Where would you like to see him go next? Patrick, since you're the NFL guy, you're trying to get it all in. Where do you think, and where would you like to see him go next? I would love to see him in the Carolina Panthers uniform and be that kind of red zone threat and add to the mix, especially if they end up getting Deshaun Watson, or even if they stick with Teddy Bridgewater. I think he can help them out for sure. What about you?
I think Carolina would be pretty cool. I mean, they haven't had a really big body like that. I mean, they tried it out with Kelvin Benjamin. That was a failure. Devin Funchess, failure. I mean, maybe they could use that, but if I had to guess, I'm just going to guess that it's going to end up being Indianapolis because they've got a ton of money and Carson Wentz is highly inaccurate and just needs big targets to go throw to. That's kind of what he's always been. I don't know what Alshon has left. He's been so banged up recently. It's really hard to tell. And I couldn't even begin to speculate on what kind of money he's going to make. Like, I would think that he's going to be in the low, like $1 million a year type deal. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he just says, I'll take a 1 year, $1 million deal, prove it deal, try to stay healthy, go to a team that can compete this year and try to make another run at a championship or at least a playoff run. And then I can try and kind of have a renaissance in my age 32, sign maybe a 2-year deal through his age 33 or 34 season. I don't know. I can't imagine him signing a multi-year deal, though, for anything more than like $1 million or $2 million a year.
I can see 2 years at this point, but he's going to have to prove it for sure with the injury history. Bill, what do you think? Where's Alshon Jeffrey going to end up in the NFL?
Well, I don't know enough about salary cap situations. What Patrick just said about the Colts makes a lot of sense. I was just glancing. I mean, what would you guys think about the Ravens? I don't know the Ravens situation. They got Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. Both of them had 58 catches on the year. After that, it drops down to Willie Snead at 33. It feels look wherever Alshon goes, he's at least the second option, and in the best situation, he's going to be the third option. His days of being the top option on anybody's offense is over. So I wonder, like in that situation, are the Browns. What's the situation with? It's not Browns. The Ravens. What's the situation with Des Bryant? He had 6 catches last year. Is he back, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, he made a better minimum last year. He's probably going to make something similar. That's the thing. I don't know how much, if at all, is Des Bryant or is Alshon an upgrade over Des Bryant. It's really going to matter how healthy he is. He is bigger, and Lamar likes throwing the big targets like that over the middle of the field. Can Alshon take that pounding if he's catching balls over the middle all season long? I don't know.
11-5 last year. That's a guy that maybe helps them get to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at. Is to me, I'd love to see him with the Panthers. Don't get me wrong, but the Colts with Wentz. I didn't look at the Titans. The Titans would be another team. Maybe Knight if Clowney stays with the Titans. He's got to be a second or third option.
Had foot surgery last offseason that limited him to just 6 catches, 115 yards, and 1 touchdown this year. Hasn't played a full season since that Super Bowl season with the Eagles in 2017. Played 13 games the next season, 10, and now just 7 in 2020. Hour 2 coming up. Greatest hour of Patrick's life.
That was. Well, except for any kind of draft day discussion.
I'm hitting kind of a wall. There's certain guys I just can't see. I actually sent a message out to agency yesterday to see if they would send me.
They would send you what? They'd send you film?
Point me in the direction of where I can get all 22. Yeah.
That is great.
It's hard to watch wide receivers because it's hard to get coaches tape of that, and you can't see them on game broadcasts.
Right. You just see them downfield if they make a catch or not.
Yeah,
right?
you only see it if they get thrown to. Hard to evaluate that way.
I think that's where Patrick's going to end up as a scout.
I would love to be a scout.
Yeah, what was the feedback that you got when you tried wasn't it Pro Football Focus?
Yeah, it's free. And that's just grading. That's literally just filling in the positions on each play so they can get, like, formation stuff down. So that was a big no.
So they would allow you to be their note taker and not pay you? Is that basically what it is?
Yeah. Can't do that. Don't have enough time to work free.
All right, what can we get going here on the live stream during the break? Patrick, is your football team ever going to pick a name? Great question, Chris.
Not this year. Next year they will.
You're going 2 years with no nickname. Why?
There's a lot. There's actually a couple theories. The one of the biggest ones is that there's a lot of investigations going on with the ownership right now, and there's a chance that Dan Snyder might sell the team. And if he were to sell the team, getting the opportunity to also name the team would increase the price dramatically for any billionaire with a big ego.
That's so dumb. Then why doesn't anyone who sells a team also just say, hey, we're going to change the name?
I mean, it's really expensive to change the name and rebrand it, and that fans would not be into that.
Who cares? If you're selling something, why do you care?
You're saying if we named it right now and then sold it next year?
No, I'm saying when they forced Jerry Richardson to sell the team, why didn't you just say, hey, we're not going to be the Panthers anymore. Next guy, you come in and you name whatever you want.
How can you do that?
Is that right? Can that happen? There seems like more people that would step up and.
Yeah, I don't think Jerry Richardson could have just said, like, I'm changing the name on the way out.
On my team?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like there's some checks and balances there that you're ignoring regarding the naming of the naming rights of the team.
This is a government policy. It's just a nickname for a stupid team.
But I don't think the owner. I mean,
that's not what it is.
The owner doesn't control the nickname to his own team?
It's not a stupid name for a
smart
stupid
owner
team,
doesn't.
as you described it. It's more than that. It means more than that.
Yeah, who holds the trademarks, everything?
I would think the team does, right? Are you saying the NFL does?
Well, there's a lot of things to go through. There's also the fact that some of the names might already be owned by people, and there's a lot of trademarks held because people knew that the team might be changing their name, so they just snatched them all up. So that's another hurdle, and they're doing a lot of work asking around the community, and like I think they want to definitely have a good idea of how it's going to be received before they make the move, because they went through this in this city with the Wizards years ago, and the Wizards' name sucks, and everybody hates it. So they don't want that to happen again.
Makes sense.
It's so dumb. In 2021, you're never going to get a high approval rating for anything like that.
Yeah, but in 2021, you also have the most ability to get everyone's opinion and feel like you have the best option.
Right. But sometimes too much information is not good.
Too many cooks in the
Especially
kitchen.
in this case. Got to go with something, make a move. Otherwise, they're just going to be the Washington football team, it sounds like, to me, forever.
I wouldn't hate that.
I mean, imagine how this conversation about the Cleveland Browns, what a stupid nickname that is. It was named after a person. It's not even a thing.
It's been around how long has the Cleveland Browns nickname been around?
Never. I'm just saying, when it originally was happening, like, yeah, let's call ourselves the Browns. What if they had done some polling then? How well would that have gone?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the nickname. I'm more concerned about what other Patrick just texted in.
You should have just hurt yourself. It's not just a stupid nickname. It means more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I missed the old name, so.
You're more concerned about what Patrick just texted in on the old text line? What do you got?
Yeah, about finding a secondary receiving target. Well, I'm actually far more concerned about finding a quarterback first.
True. Doesn't matter who your receivers are if you can't give them the ball.
Apparently, they really like Justin Fields.
That's good. They really like Dwayne Haskins.
No, they didn't. They hated Dwayne Haskins.
That's why they drafted him.
That Dan Snyder drafted him, yes, because he went to school with his son. That's why everyone. Jay Gruden just went on it, did an interview last weekend that was making waves throughout the district because he was finally brutally honest. He's trying to get into TV, so he's like, I don't really care anymore. I'll tell you exactly what happened. And I mean, everyone said that already. Dan Snyder made the pick. Like nobody in the scouting department wanted him. Jay Gruden absolutely did not want Dwayne Haskins, nor did Kyle Smith, who's not there anymore. That's why they're a dysfunctional organization.
It's not that I disagree that it maybe did make some noise, but I feel like Patrick's being very dramatic this morning did an interview that's making waves
Around the district.
No, everyone in DC listened to that interview. I was talking about that interview. Every radio show.
That's where they're going, Jason. The Washington Snyders. It's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean,
That's polling well right now, I hear.
that's actually true, though. Nobody wanted Dwayne Haskins except for Dan Snyder. They told him not to take Dwayne Haskins.
We're
Ooh,
in the intro.
Good suggestion, Craig.
What?
Washington.
Is there something
Not
did you
bad.
say something about blind betting? You're going to bet what? If you bet what? What are we doing?
Huh?
Nope, no one said that at all.
Was that
I was making fun of Jen for the thing yesterday that y'all laughed at where I was trying to do the very end of the show. And she said, fine, whatever
We're
then.
listening.
Oh, whatever.
I wasn't. I was talking. Total difference.
Whatever. You're up.
I don't think we got an whatever out of Jen yet this morning. I feel a little disappointed. We're an hour in. They'll just try to cut her off from the coming into the break or coming into the intro here, just off of yesterday. Put out a little video clip. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out on all of it.
In my defense, Jen's done something. I think you said you're using your phone for the live stream, and it's harder to hear you. The volume is down. So if it's like one of your typical Zoom happy hours where everybody's just talking and you can't hear one person. So yesterday it was Patrick and I were talking back and forth, and Jen was trying to tell us we were coming back from the break going into the final segment, and I couldn't hear her because what she's using to Zoom herself or to be on the live stream, the volume's not as good. So I never heard her. So yesterday's all that happened. I never heard her. So, finally I had to go back and look at the video, and it was pretty amusing. Your reaction was very good. Very annoyed very end of the show-esque, where you just had enough and was ready to punch buttons and leave.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty funny. I laugh, but yeah, I definitely. There are times on the live stream I definitely cannot hear you right now, so we need to
I gotta
all
work
chip
on
in
that.
and
Figure out what the deal
purchase.
is with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should get some headphones where we could all hear each other's microphones.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Get some more subscribers too.
Where do we stand?
That one is from game YouTube.
Where are we at?
281.
I don't understand you. You say this. I never see you tweet out anything about subscribing or
Good point.
putting
Good
any.
point, Bill. That's how kids are these
Just
days.
complaints.
Entitled.
So,
I mean,
Here,
I
I'll
have
help you.
tweeted about subscribing.
How many times?
I don't know. I don't like that.
don't call me out on it now.
I also don't like that every time I say to subscribe, Bill turns this into a, hey, Patrick really wants the station's YouTube page to get better. Like, sorry that I'm the only person that cares about this. We should all care, Bill.
All right. I
The
don't know
team
if
effort.
Patrick has never seen more than 25 years old than this morning. Have you guys gotten this? He came in just flame throwing Jimmy Fallon, throwing him right under the bus, and then just put the whole late night TV, every host of late night TV, throwing him, get out of here. Never owned a cord. Never been part of the TV cord process in his entire life. I guess he never paid for it himself, right? Is that what you're saying as an adult? And,
Yeah,
and
every
now,
time I kills myself.
and now doing this, the YouTube subscription model. Because most of the times I feel like Patrick maybe shows more maturity than most of us. And breaking down the NFL, the proposed Deshaun Watson trade, Peter King put out there, Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, bunch of draft picks. Who was the third guy that I'm missing from the Panthers right now?
Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, yeah, throw him in the deal. David, good call. I believe we're seeing the effects of that, Tom Patrick.
It's a good point.
I had more energy without sweets and fast food weighing me down.
So
You have had energy this morning.
Food, we're not even a week in, and Patrick's already flamethrower. We're about to wrap
Working,
up.
yeah.
All right. Well, how is it working? How?
Because I'm just throwing hot eggs out left and right, and it's
Okay.
Seriously.
The fast food
How's your
is
health
weighing
doing?
down
Are you
your-
feeling better? Are you feeling better health-wise?
feeling
you
great.
dropped a
Look how
couple
energized,
of-
look how energized I am.
Yeah,
Well,
but we've seen this. An energy bar to you is asking who's 10 through 25 on your big draft board. Like, we could do that. You could have just had a huge fast food breakfast, and if we just asked you who's 10 through 25, you'd be just sizzling right now. Who you got? 10? Give me 10 through 15.
I'll just tell you that 11 is the cutoff of blue chip players. That's where I cut off the blue chips.
Whoa, I thought blue chips were only college guys, and we're going to get to some Gamecock possible recruiting news in just a second. You don't call NFL guys blue chippers, do you?
I think I can be a blue chipper.
Come on. This is...
Same deal.
Okay, go ahead. Give us some names.
10 through 25, all of them?
No,
Or just
10
1 and
through
11?
15.
11 through
Who's the
15.
cutoff?
Christian Barmore is where I cut off the blue chippers.
That makes sense.
He's a stud.
And he's number 11 or he's number 10?
He's number 11.
He falls
Okay.
past 11. It's crazy.
You guys know who he is?
No clue.
He's a center. For Alabama.
football
He plays for
guys.
Alabama.
He does play for Alabama. He's defensive tackle for Alabama.
We haven't touched the ball.
Oh, so he's in the center of the defense. Got it.
And why is he a stud?
I mean, it's actually a really, really, really weak defensive tackle class, and Christian Barmore is a big-time defensive tackle. It's actually really, after him, there's no one worth taking for a while. So he's going to probably go very high, but he's a freak. All these Alabama defensive tackles, it's like the defensive tackle and running back, they just put 2 to 3 guys in the draft, then plug a new guy in next year.
I can help here. That was a lot of words for Patrick to say. He's got violent hands and he's twitched up.
He's not twitched up. He's a defensive tackle.
He's a space eater, Bill. Come on.
Yeah.
Get out of here. No, you can't be
I don't know.
twitched
Maybe he's
up
a
defensive
pass
tackle.
rushing defensive tackle. I don't know.
He can rush the passer, but he
there you go.
just moves people off the ball at will. That's just what he does.
Worst scouting report ever. Can't rush the passer at all. A defensive tackle. Doesn't eat any space.
That was actually Raekwon Davis last year for Alabama. Doesn't rush the passer at all, but is one of the best, as a rookie, was one of the best run defenders in
All right,
the
you got
NFL.
that's Barmore's at 11. Who's at 12?
That's
12.
what it falls off the
Rashawn Slater. He didn't play last year, but was a very dominant offensive lineman for Northwestern that a lot of people think is going to end up playing guard. But I think he's got the chops for tackle. He just got short arms.
Okay. Keep going. We're going to 15.
We're not going to go up. If you don't want to hear it.
Don't let him get away with that sentence, because this is where we are now. Maybe we're just all so conditioned after 11 months of a pandemic to let that go. But he just slides in. He didn't play last year. Like that is going to be a common thing at the top of this draft, right?
Yeah.
Or all throughout the draft, but especially at the top. How many guys? So he was number 12. How many of those top 12 guys didn't play at all last year?
Wait a minute. Let me do this. I'm being serious. No, because I don't think it's as many as you're bringing it up. You're gonna have.
The answer is 5 in the top 12.
Really?
Tim was correct. Yeah. You can name them.
Yeah. Jamal Chase,
just
for sure.
Chase, thank you. Chase, Parsons.
Fuller, Virginia Tech.
Farley.
Farley.
Yeah.
Is he in there?
That's 3. Yeah, he's in there. He's the best.
You have the defensive. Was it the defensive end from Miami?
Gregory So now. He's close. He's the
all right, the left tackle in Oregon.
Yep. And then Slater. Penei Sewell.
Okay, gotcha.
So go through those 5 names again real quick.
It's Penei Sewell, Oregon. I've got him at number 2. Jamar Chase, LSU. Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State. And then Caleb Farley, corner, Virginia Tech, and Rashawn Slater, tackle, Northwestern.
5 of the top 12 picks on your board didn't play at all last year.
Right.
Mind-boggling in any other year. Obviously, this year's different. Please continue. Your number 13 pick, sir.
Trevon Morig, he's the best safety. He's unbelievable from TCU. Just flies around. He's very, very, very fun to watch. And then 14 is Christian Darrisaw, tackle from Virginia Tech, and 15 is Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Ooh, all the way down to 15, huh? He'd been the early projection to the Panthers at what? 8?
He wouldn't be overdrafted at 8, even if he's not, because this is just compared. Like, Trevon Morig is a better safety than Trey Lance is a quarterback, but if you need a quarterback, you're obviously going to take the quarterback over a safety. Positional value is important, and I'm kind of doing that independent of positional value.
I got it. So you're just going best available. Your old Mel Kiper, just following after your role model. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, like Kyle Pitts, I have number 3. Kyle Pitts won't go number 3, but I'm hard pressed to find anyone who's better at what they do than Kyle Pitts at catching footballs.
You don't have to convince me. He's got fans with that for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Bill, you got some possible recruiting news. You're keeping your eye on the first. I guess this is kind of the guy that we talked about it before. Steve Spurrier had who? Bobby Wallace, was he the first one? And Will Muschamp had TJ. Who do you have?
Brunson Edwards, one? Right? Simultaneously.
No, technically,
TJ
I think he had
Brunson
Keir
and
Thomas.
Kind of the same time.
Keir Thomas. Yeah.
Keir
Look,
Thomas
you're talking different things here. You're talking about the class, like
first
they've already
visit,
picked up.
First commit. I'm not talking different
Well,
things.
Isaac Norris for would have been Shane Beamer's the junior college defensive back that's enrolled now, committed.
No, that doesn't count. We're talking about for the new class, right?
Well, okay, but Bobby Wallace Bobby Wallace doesn't count. TJ Brunson doesn't count.
Okay.
That's you guys were throwing out those names. That's all I'm saying.
Next year.
But South Carolina today could very likely end up with their first commitment, or the Shane Beamer's first commitment of the 2022 class. Safety Anthony Rose out of Hallandale, Florida. South Carolina is actually, I don't know if I've ever heard of this. They've offered the entire secondary. The entire secondary for Hallandale. Yeah, all 4 guys have been offered, but Anthony Rose is expected, or has said. That's why I say that he has said he will make an announcement today at 3:00. He has narrowed it down to South Carolina, Arizona, and Penn State. 6'2", 180 pounds. He's a safety, and I say that because you know what, Steve Spurrier landed some good quarterbacks during his time at South Carolina, but I think we would all agree that Will Muschamp landed better quarterbacks. Couldn't land safeties, but you look at Bentley, you look at Holinsky, you look at Luke Doty. I mean, if you want to throw Gunnar Stockton in there as landing a guy, obviously not getting him on campus, but the quarterback recruiting under Will Muschamp substantially better in terms of rankings, not play. Total difference there, but a lot better under Will Muschamp. But we always thought he'd be able to land a good safety. Anthony Rosa, a high 3-star safety, so you're not talking about a guy who's, a big 4 or 5-star type prospect, but certainly a guy that's 6'2", 180 pounds, looks like a guy who can be a big hitter in the secondary. I think you love landing those Florida kids that can come in and make an instant impact. And with South Carolina's need in the secondary, Anthony Rose is a guy who a lot of people believe will commit to the Gamecocks later today. Again, I think that is expected. Some kind of announcement around 3 o'clock. Again, the Hallandale High School secondary. Edric Weldon, Jalen Marshall, and Alfonso Allen. plus
Jalen Marshall
Anthony Rose.
committed Arizona State last week.
Did he? Okay, well, I'm just saying they offered all 4. Yeah, that's why you're seeing something. But Weldon, Marshall, Allen, and now Anthony Rose. Think about that secondary running around out there, all with some big time offers. But Anthony Rose, a guy to keep an eye on today. Again, I think it's 3 o'clock is when he is expected, or sometime later today. I don't know if he's going into his high school gym and making an announcement, if he's putting something out on Twitter, or how he's doing it. But Anthony Rose, now a guy that could become Shane Beamer's first commitment of the 2022 class into the position that South Carolina badly needs.
So, Patrick, you mentioned that his teammate committed to Arizona State. Bill, it bears repeating, even if you just mentioned it there, that the finalists for this safety, that doesn't include Arizona State.
Wildcats, not State.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Yeah. And Penn State. So Penn State, Arizona, and South Carolina. Is that the final 3 there?
That is according to Chris Clark. Chris Clark with Gamecock Central.
When did you start attributing your information? Yeah, good for you.
A while back. We don't listen to you. You don't listen to me. It's a successful radio show when you don't listen to each other.
Fair enough. I was reading.
I only don't attribute information to Lou B. Jack because that guy knows nothing.
I was reading that Craig was saying the secondary is like 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", and 6'4". Okay. Doesn't seem massive, but when you're talking about corners, I guess at least 6'2". That is. Oh, yeah. That's something that jumps out these days. What really got me distracted in your diatribe there is you're calling out Will Muschamp's quarterback recruits. It dawned on me, how in the world did Will Muschamp recruit better quarterbacks than Steve Spurrier, and Steve Spurrier recruited better defensive back players, secondary players than Will Muschamp? It makes no sense. They recruited better at the opposite of their specialty, especially on paper. And where is Shane Beamer's
Will Muschamp? Hold on, let me stop you there. Because it's looking like, Muschamp's going to end up. John Dixon's 24/7 Sports yesterday put out their top 50 transfers nationally. One of the guys that was one of the top 10 players on that list was John Dixon. I think John Dixon, if you talk about guys South Carolina lost in the offseason, biggest losses that transferred out, I think it's without a doubt it's John Dixon, who was starting to play really, really well last year, was getting more playing time, and I think would have been the anchor of that secondary this year. Probably potentially would have teamed with Cam Smith if Smith continues to develop to be a pretty strong 1-2 punch. But, you say that J.C. Horn, Patrick, where have you got Horn? I think we've done this. Where have you got Horn on your big board here?
20-ish? 27.
I've seen him bounce. I think I saw somebody on Twitter yesterday pop up that he was projected to the Saints. It feels like he's starting to be.
A lot of buzz that Stephon Gilmore might be out, J.C. Horn might be in.
Whoa. For the Patriots, yeah, I've seen him projected there. So I say all that just because you're going to have Horn. McQuamu's going to go somewhere, and it'll be interesting to see if McQuamu, when he gets to the NFL, if somebody says, hey, buddy, you're playing safety, not cornerback, and he goes on to have a very good career. I think John Dixon's going to be another guy out of that secondary that goes on to end up being a very good player. I think that's a guy who can go up to Penn State and make an instant impact this coming season. So just an FYI on that, he was considered I think he was a top 10 cornerback transfer according to 24/7 Sports.
Okay, but you're still not getting to Spurrier's level. I mean, Stephon Gilmore was the defensive player of the year. Culver, Holloman in that secondary, Antonio Allen. Go down, keep going. I guess it was more years, so it might not be fair to go down that list as far, but boggles my
John
mind.
Dixon is a
That's how it
higher
worked out.
transfer recruit than he was a high school recruit. That's more to Tim's point.
But you got to get credit for developing and all of that, and it will be.
Well,
interesting
hold
to
on.
keep an eye on
I
Clemson
agree
with
with
that.
you, but also I don't think anybody would have looked. DJ Swearinger wasn't a huge recruit. He wasn't. John Dixon technically was a higher recruit, I believe, than DJ Swearinger.
Probably right.
Cam Smith as well.
And so I understand what you're saying, but let's also not act like everyone. Like Antonio Allen obviously went on to have a cup of tea with the New York Jets and was not a guy that.
Cup of tea. Long tea.
Especially a lot of guys Will Muschamp recruited that were higher recruits than DJ Swearinger. Jeremiah Swain was sure.
Yeah, so I guess it's how you break it down, like when they came to school and then how they got out. Interesting recruiting news, though, that Shane Beamer could have his first 2022 commit. And as you were talking about that, I wanted to stop you in the middle and ask you where we are with the current recruiting because of the dead period being extended. And I know Shane Beamer and basically every coach out there doesn't like that. We'll get into it as we continue to roll on this morning. Victor Hampton Raphael popped out on the live stream, very underrated back in the day. Gamecock football talk, who knows where that's going to end up. We also need to get into Carolina Clemson baseball discussion, the big series coming up this weekend. We'll talk about it all week long, and the Gamecocks with a bit of an appetizer today over at Founders Park with a 4 o'clock scheduled game against Winthrop. You're listening to the early game, 803-404-6100 if you want to join here on 107.5 The Game.
A very weird cheap shot at Spurrier on the text line.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about Justin here. Spurrier is tough to play for at QB.
No, the person who said, would you want Spurrier, if you were a father, would you want Spurrier turning your son into a head case?
I guess this dude's name is Tim.
So what I'm about to say is stupid, but it's very entertaining to me. As I've sat here, I moved into this condo in July of last year, and obviously I've usually sat right here every morning to do the radio show and obviously watch the sun come up. It's really been fascinating to watch the earth turn and the sun come up more there where it's in my face every morning. But as we've gone into fall and winter, it's moved to my right, almost kind of behind the wall each morning. And now to see it moving back, it's just kind of neat to have a point of reference to look at each and every morning and see where the sun's coming up and how the earth is rotating. Because now this morning, like you kind of see it. I don't know if y'all noticed this. Of course, it's also been raining, so there's no way you would notice. But the sun is really getting back in my face now, how it used to be. And y'all complain about the light and the brightness in here.
Wow, deep thoughts with Bill Gunter, ladies and gentlemen.
Kind of interesting. What exactly is Patrick doing?
I don't know. I turned off his mic and now I'm turning it back on just to see if we could hear him. Oh, he's
That was
It's
your
an
sitting
exercise ball. It's an exercise ball.
At least tilt that camera down a little bit so it seems a little less.
That idea just hit me. I should sit on an exercise ball.
This guy's going to be ripped by the end of Lent in no time.
Yeah.
You got to eat healthy. Patrick's not a healthy eater.
Now I am.
Yeah, but what did you? You're still cooking. You cook delicious meals, but they're not. What have you fixed recently?
Sausage, spaghetti.
David just said, "This is weird, Patrick."
I need to clean up. I got all my draft notes right here.
Wow.
It's like Tommy Moody in studio.
It is. It's a good. Yeah.
Papers everywhere.
The Friday night high school board show. He's just got boards around his room that he wakes up in the middle of the night. Is that what happens when he wakes up after a nap? He's just like, I got to move that guy to 21. He wakes up, moves the card over.
I mean, essentially, I have no cards on my desk that are all just rankings. That's all they are.
Did you see Will's text into the text line? It's just rude.
Who?
Gamecock Will.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if he's being
that's
serious
right.
or not, so.
You guys seen the temperature for today?
No, what's you up to? It's
We're
fine.
talking, I think we're talking mid 60s today. Jen, have you reported that properly? Jennifer?
Yes, I have.
60s. I hope you said it with excitement in your voice. 66 today.
I have.
You know what the high is tomorrow?
72.
7. Look at you.
Oh my God.
Like a junior meteorologist in training. I'm glad I've rubbed off on you.
It's a good day for me, man.
Now I haven't been able to hit any golf balls. I need to.
Oh,
So, I
that
don't
what?
know if this is weird or not. Last night, or night before Monday night, Sunday night.
It's definitely going to be weird.
Yeah. I woke up, I usually wake up about 5:15, 5:20, figure out how much time I have left before I got to get out of bed. I went back and sleep. I had a
Isn't it the
dream
same
that
amount of time every day?
Huh?
Isn't it the same amount of time every day?
No,
Sure,
sometimes I
start-
wake up at 5:05 and I realize I got 48 minutes till I get out of bed. Sometimes it's 5:22.
Well, you said you wake
and
up
I
at
realize-
5:20 or 5:30. So
Huh?
5:05 would not be one of those. Never mind.
You ever seen
I don't have the alarm set.
Well, you
But I
said
went back to
5:20
sleep.
or
I went back to
5:30.
sleep, and in my dream, I dreamed that I had gotten up and was about to do the show, and I got connected, but nobody was there. And the next thing I know, Jen just came into my room and started cleaning and complaining that she was sick and that we're all waiting on Patrick to get to the studio to do the show.
Woo.
I did not sleep well this weekend.
It's probably a good show.
Jen, we do need to take a break pretty quick here, right?
That would be correct. Yes. Yes.
Unbelievable.
I don't know where even to process this other than at a therapist's office.
Whew, the dream that Bill just let us in on the live video stream. We won't get into the details. Let's just say
That was a good.
Jen was cleaning.
What did I talk about? What did I discuss in the live stream? Let's see. The rotation of the Earth and how I'm watching the sun move back to my left. That was pretty good. We
Jason
discussed
says
Patrick
you're quite the
and
nature scientist this morning.
thank you. Yeah, we discussed Patrick and both his what it appears to be a workout habit and his what he's eating, and we got into a dream I had the other night about the start of the show. That was a very good live stream. That's why I've already put on Twitter to please subscribe. Please subscribe. And I've got the link. And not only that, but I didn't make fun of Patrick asking him to telling people that he's going to be upset if you don't subscribe, but he will be upset.
Good play.
That live video stream, by the way, is sponsored by Beaufort Lending. We appreciate their support on the show. This is an amazing show for multiple reasons. We're all over the map. That break may have been the weirdest break yet, David says, no doubt.
You said it's weird that I'm sitting on that I switched to an exercise ball. I don't know why that's weird.
It's also weird because your mouth is, both you and Jen barely had, you look like you guys might be doing some kind of ventriloquist trick. You're kind of looking like Kermit the Frog with your heads at the very bottom of the frame. And you follow
Jen looks
Bill.
like
I thought Bill started that.
Yeah, Jen looks like Wilson from Home Improvement right now.
I know. I can't get it over.
If she would just throw in a howdy neighbor and start offering advice, I would be like, oh, Tim Allen right now.
I haven't
You guys are
mastered my setup yet.
floating heads at the bottom of a shot there. We need a little work with that. That's all right. That's why we're radio people here. 803-404-6100 if you would like to join. All over the map, we were just talking about a possible first recruit for Shane Beamer and company. And Bill, as you were saying that, you were saying it's likely to be, or it could be, a safety out of the state of Florida. Where is Hallandale, by the way, geographically, since you got us into the rotational pull of the Earth and Sunrise and the whole thing, of Lake Murray, while we were in the break, as you're looking it up, you mentioned that the South Carolina coach staff has offered the entire secondary at this particular high school. One guy, Patrick, you said, already committed to Arizona State. This particular guy, Rose, the safety, who might commit this afternoon, has got his choices narrowed down to Arizona, South Carolina, and Penn State. What you got for Hallandale? North Florida, South Florida, Central Florida?
It's
near where?
To give you an example. Yeah, it's just in Hollywood. It's just north of North Miami Beach. You know what? Honestly, with Travaris Robinson, when he was coming, this is the kind of player I really thought that Travaris Robinson would go in and land for South Carolina. I thought he'd get a few big time prospects. J.C. Horn, Jemias Williams certainly come to mind, but I thought that Muschamp and Travaris Robinson in particular would be able to mine the South Florida area. There's a lot of really good 3-star players that come out of there that are fast, they're in love with the game of football. They play it with a different passion. They play it similar to DJ Swearinger, who obviously came out of Greenwood and not South Florida. But I was surprised that you didn't see more guys like this brought to the South Carolina program through connections from the Miami area. It's hard to go down there and beat Miami on a kid that they want. It's hard to go and beat Florida or Florida State on kids they want, but South Carolina's had success in the past going into the state of Florida and finding guys that are a little bit further down the list. To me, the one that instantly comes to mind in the last decade is Ace Sanders. Ace Sanders was not a guy that the Big Three wanted, and he came to South Carolina, and obviously Ace Sanders wasn't some top-end, high-end 4-star recruit. He was a high 3-star. Speed. He was maybe an inch or two short for Florida State. I think he was from the Tampa area, so it wasn't South Florida. But those are the kind of guys that can improve your program. Obviously, we mentioned Rose. I do not think has offers. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think he has offers from the Big Three. That means something sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's the kind of prospect I thought you'd see Will Muschamp and his staff be able to go in with their time at Florida. With Will Muschamp having coached with the Miami Dolphins, you'd figure he was able to build some connections. Travaris Robinson, again, in the state of Florida. So we'll see if they do land Anthony Rose. That's the first thing. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And then we'll see how he turns out as a player, if he's a guy that comes in and is able to make an impact. But certainly would be a nice start today for the 2022 class if that's a guy that the Gamecocks can reel in. There's a lot that they're going to have to prove. And the way that the current recruiting structure is set up, not being able to have visits until June 1, not being able to get kids on campus. South Carolina is obviously not a program that has the national brand or recognition that kids are just going to want to, hey, let me put them in my top 5 or top 10. You've got to get kids on campus and allow them to see the energy of the coaching staff, allow them to see the facilities. South Carolina's in a position right now where they've got to get Shane Beamer and his staff have got to get guys on campus to be able to land some of these better prospects that really change their program. Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, even throw an Auburn in there, a national program, has shown what they can do on the football field. South Carolina right now, the product isn't there on the field. You're selling the vision. You're selling your facilities, the fan base, but that means getting guys on campus. So Anthony Rose would be a good start for them today if they can land him.
And again, probably hasn't been to the campus and probably hasn't had any interaction, certainly physically, I wouldn't think, with the new coaching staff. You mentioned that June 1. It's not a guarantee that's going to happen on June 1, that you'll be able to have in-person recruiting visits. What we do know now is that the NCAA says you certainly cannot until at least then, but they haven't ruled that's where they're going to go. I know that is difficult, but as you were talking about the recruiting process and Rose specifically not being a high 4-star or a 4-star or high 4-star, 5-star kind of prospect. How has the recruiting process changed, the evaluation process this year because of the pandemic, because in the state of North Carolina hasn't even played high school football or just started high school football this season? There are a lot of states out there that had to make adjustments. I want to hear your answer on that, Bill, as we go, and maybe how you have to shift the mindset of what a recruiting class is or will be for college football these days because of where we're at. We'll do that when we come back, kick off the second half of the show officially. 803-404-6100 if you would like to join. It's the early game here on 107.5. Oh, I appreciate your restraint, Bill. I know you wanted to weigh right in there.
I'm good. Yes, Travis, you've missed quite a show so far.
That's a good summation of, and that's just this hour, Travis. You should have heard the first hour. Might have been one of the best hours of the show's history. I mean, if you miss half a show, you're way behind, Travis. That's how this episodic radio is. Patrick, you want to sum up the first half of the show, or the first hour at least, as you're falling asleep here because you clearly shot it all in the first hour?
A lot of NFL talk. Aaron Rodgers is engaged.
That's how it started.
Late night shows aren't what they used to be.
Jimmy Fallon stinks, he said, I think.
Bill gave us... I don't even know what Bill talked about last break. He was on a roll, it sounded like.
Good morning, Tanya.
Hey, when you were talking about Florida schools, that reminded me. Did you see who the director of football operations is for Gus Malzahn?
At UCF. No, I saw that Addison Williams joined the staff yesterday, former Gamecock corner. He's coaching the defensive backs now.
S.J. Tui.
I'm sorry?
S.J. Tui?
S.J. is the name?
Yeah, Tui. Last name ring any bells?
No.
The family from The Blind Side. The
That's
little
what I
kid
was
from The
thinking.
Blind Side is the director
Oh,
of
really?
football operations at UCF now, yeah.
Wow.
I think that's the title. Hang on.
Attaboy, Travis. So
Yeah, director of football operations.
you do not want to visit from Travis, by the way. He's working on the ambulance today. Sounds like a rewatch later. Part of the brilliance of the YouTube live stream there. Or Facebook, maybe, is what you're on. Well, I didn't know about The Blind Side. He's all in on that.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, but wasn't technically like 50% of it just completely incorrect?
Yeah, I think so. That's what makes a good movie.
I mean, it was.
Isn't that this show?
That's what makes a good movie based on a true story.
And a good
We're
radio
not trying
show.
to be correct on the show. We fudge a little.
I think Michael
Yeah,
Orr,
yeah.
apparently Michael Orr hates that movie too, is what I've
Yep. I've never
heard.
seen it.
Yeah.
Is the word.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they had to fudge a lot of the details to make it the most entertaining movie they could.
Make it a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah. Kind of have to expect that with every movie based off a true story.
Right.
Exactly. Well, I mean, think about
Well, the most fascinating that I've seen. Did you ever watch American Made with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, sweet movie.
Good stuff.
It's an incredible movie, and you've got Tom Cruise in it, and that guy Barry. Have you ever seen an actual picture of Barry?
Oh, yeah. He's in
Let me just
Narcos
say,
too.
Tom, you could have picked Joe Pesci or what's Danny DeVito would have been more proper to play that role than Tom Cruise.
Yeah. He's in Narcos, and I think that his portrayal in Narcos was much more accurate.
They got
Yeah, I saw that episode where they come down. Yeah, it's. Oh, they made that American Made movie because I ended up reading about all that.
Yeah.
They made that guy
It was
look
so fun.
like a great like a great guy. He certainly was not.
Did you ever see Cocaine Cowboys, Bill?
No.
Documentary.
Yeah, I guess it's probably not as good if you've seen the fictionalized version of it all first, but man, it is something. Yeah, have you guys seen Grader? I've heard good things about Grader Burlsworth from Arkansas. I haven't seen it though.
I've never heard of
I
it.
haven't seen that. It's about time for me to start getting back into some Netflix documentary. I saw where Ozark's coming out with another season on March 27th. Might be time for me to catch up. Patrick, it's crazy. Was it this time last year that we were debating me trying to get through
Breaking Bad?
that last year or the year before getting through Breaking Bad?
I don't know. Seems like it was a long time ago.
I'm in the 5th season, by the way. Almost done.
I was
Wow.
checked out by that point and ready for it to be over.
I got to admit, I fought through the end.
Same.
And then I did watch the movie finally, and that was ugh.
Yeah.
We're heading back in. Probably
The Breaking Bad movie not worth watching? Is that what you're saying?
It's fine.
I feel like you have to watch it to finish it. I feel like you just that's like you just got to.
Great.
It's like the end of this radio show.
All right, guys. We're
What a time to be alive here in 2021. College baseball season's underway. Gamecocks back on the field today. 3:45 airtime against Winthrop ahead of Carolina Clemson baseball this weekend. I said football because someone hit us up a little earlier. I think it was Clemson Allen on the text line. Says since there wasn't a football game, he's going to do his trash talking with Carolina and Clemson this year in the baseball rivalry series. I feel like I've seen a little bit more of that on social media, especially so many days ahead of this thing. Carolina Clemson baseball is fantastic and has been for decades now. The rivalry, I think, gets billed as the best one in the country, and I don't think that's hyperbole. I think the stats can back that up. But this year, Bill, do you think it takes on a little something extra because of where we are? In a lot of ways, I'm hoping for sure, and I think a lot of people are, kind of pulling ourselves out of this pandemic at this point and maybe a little bit more opening up, or certainly with the weather getting warmer just today and tomorrow and this week compared to what we've had the last few weeks. And baseball season always kind of symbolizes the beginning of spring and the new life and the whole thing. But this year in 2021, I think maybe more than ever, and not having a football game in the rivalry, I think that does kind of, it changes, tweaks this rivalry up a notch or two maybe this year on the baseball field.
Yeah, they played. Clemson and South Carolina have played each other. I want to say in a few other sports in the last month and a half, I believe.
Men's basketball, that means it too.
Well, that's what I was about to say. But the big three, it's been a year since these two teams have played, and since these two in the true big three, baseball, basketball, football, obviously, as you just mentioned, did not play each other in men's or women's basketball. So, and this is, look, it's still, especially when you get them ranked like they are now, it's still one of the best rivalries in baseball. The passionate fans, that's why you got people already talking about the weather for the weekend, and how that could go down. It is calling for rain kind of across the state, but it's not. I don't think it's drastic at this point. As I just glanced, I'm looking at the Lexington weather. I forget what is the exact schedule, Tim? Is it Friday in Columbia, Saturday in Greenville, and Sunday in Clemson? Is that right? Do I have that right?
Nope.
Okay.
Friday's in Clemson and Sunday is in Columbia with Greenville on Saturday.
Good news there is Friday's called for 70% chance of rain in Lexington. So I'll just do that, and you can factor that down to Columbia. But if I'm looking Friday, no, okay, much worse in Clemson on Friday, 90% chance of rain. So hopefully they'll find a way to get these things in and give everybody kind of, again, to me, it's a lot of things that just overall we'll use sports as it, but a return to normal. And so I think getting this series in would continue to help people kind of, look, trash talk, whether it's Clemson Allen or Clemson Sean or Gamecock Larry or whoever it wants to be there. just having a little fun and getting back to, you know, a little bit of normal, a little bit of something outside of real world events that is just being able to talk trash to your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, your cousin, whatever, about a baseball series this weekend. And certainly we hope they'll be able to get it in.
The start for both teams, I think, also helps lead to that, with the Gamecocks dominating their first two games, scoring combined 24 runs against Dayton, and then pulling out game number 3 with a late rally, 5-1 that final score. They play again against Winthrop today. Clemson also coming off a weekend sweep, some closer scores and not as high scores, but needing a walk-off hit to sweep Cincinnati. I think that certainly helps. And then where these two programs are as well, a little bit different than we've seen in the past. Clemson fans, they've been solid under Monty Lee, but they have had kind of little to no postseason success. And that Clemson baseball program, like the Carolina baseball program, obviously not with the national championships and not quite the success in Omaha, clearly, that the Gamecocks have had, but plenty of success through the years. And judged on what you do in the postseason. Also judged on what you do in this series. And Clemson took 2 out of 3 last year. It was the year before that the Gamecocks had broken a streak, I think, of 5 years going into it. And Mark Kingston and company had gotten the win in that series and then went on to a disappointing SEC slate. But this rivalry, I think, is going to be kind of a reflection of where a lot of us are. Happy, maybe just gotten to the point where we can not worry as much about the pandemic and get into some legit sports trash talking. At least I'm thinking that's where a lot of people are based off of what I've seen so far. 803-404-6100 if you would like to join. Gamecock Larry has yet to hit us up this morning. If you missed him yesterday, it was an epic Gamecock Larry call. Mentioning it. This is where GLP was born. You guys see this? The Gamecock Larry posse.
Yep.
A lot of questions about that yesterday. He says he's getting his posse together, going after the Legion of the Doom. So watch out there. The motorized scooter license. I don't know if he's been granted that yet. I know he's going for it. Maybe we'll hear from him as we move on this morning as well. We see several of you weighed in. 29 total runs, Chris pointed out, for the Gamecocks over the weekend. Yeah, averaging just less than 10, and it was 5 home runs on Saturday for the Gamecocks, showing off the power in that thing, and 3 specifically for Wes Clark, who was named one of the National Players of the Week. And I was thinking of that guy that hit 2 grand slams in the same inning. The
Caleb
freshman,
Pendleton.
or the yeah. How does he not get National Player of the Week just for how you start a?
He didn't even play in game 1. He didn't even play on Friday night.
Oh, so this was a Saturday.
This was Saturday, yeah.
Unbelievable. 8-1 I've seen is what SEC teams did. It was Arkansas and Ole Miss. I guess they finished up the little tournament out in Texas, playing at the Ranger Stadium against those Big 12 teams, Texas Tech and Texas. And I guess there was one more team maybe involved in that thing. But 8-1 is where Arkansas and Ole Miss started there. Impressive. And I saw the updated rankings there. I think there's 6 teams in front of the Gamecocks in the national rankings just from the SEC. And Carolina was weighing in right around 16 or 17 nationally as well. I think Clemson somewhere in the 20s, right around 25 is where they started. So this college baseball rivalry, as healthy as it's been.
But that's why you've got to win this series for South Carolina baseball, and then you've got to hold serve and stay above 500. You don't have to have some ridiculous record during SEC play, but if you can go 18-12, 17-13, somewhere in that ballpark, because of how difficult the SEC is, and then you're defined by what you do in the postseason. When you win this series, this is a big one. Right? This is up there because looking ahead with Florida, Vanderbilt, throw in that Texas series again, non-conference series, but when you look down the line at the SEC series, it's going to be difficult. 20 wins in league play is almost, given how difficult the schedule is almost an unrealistic expectation, in my opinion.
Sure.
I know we've seen it, but we also saw, I don't think the SEC was as good and South Carolina was a better team just 10 years ago. The SEC now is an absolute juggernaut in baseball. So to win this series, this is vital. This is a huge series for Mark Kingston. They've got to win this series this weekend.
I would agree with you in a typical year if you had the usual non-conference slate, but you throw that Texas series in there, and I say if you as long as you don't get swept, you lose 2 out of 3 to Clemson, you win 2 out of 3 at Texas. I think that balances it out. I think, but for the momentum of the program, Bill, I understand what you're saying, and for Gamecock fans, I know they would much rather have a series win against Clemson than Texas in the non-conference leading up to that ridiculously tough SEC slate this year, maybe even more so than it has been in years past. That is. 803-404-6100 if you would like to get in. We need to take a quick break here.
Real quick. Can I do an update real quick? I put out a tweet about an hour ago begging for subscribers on the YouTube page. You can go to 1075 The Game YouTube page. We've gone from 281 to 293.
Let's go. Get us to 300. Get us 300 by 8 o'clock, please. Please.
YouTube, you go to the YouTube channel. There you go. That perked up. Patrick said he'd be quiet during the baseball, but there you go. Good job.
You actually served a purpose today.
Each and every day I serve a purpose. Not all of them are the right purposes.
He created 12 burner accounts and hit subscribe on all of those. Well done, sir.
Busy that segment.
It's the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
Clear.
Patrick's legit joy with that is hilarious.
I thought that would make him happy.
Let's go. What is this WandaVision? Can you guys help me out with that? I felt this sound like such an old man.
You guys aren't really Marvel people. Also, I'm echoing. Whoever I'm echoing in, mute your stream.
Bill brought it up. Waddy says he loves the Easter eggs in that show.
It's a Marvel show. Wanda and Vision are 2 characters from the Marvel movies. It's actually really cool how they're doing it. It's in a sitcom style, but each episode is going through a different era of sitcom. So the first episode is black and white, based off like the style of like I Love Lucy and I think like the Dick Van Dyke Show. Then the second episode still black and white, based off like Bewitched. And then they just go through every era through like Brady Bunch and Full House and Malcolm in the Middle. And last week they did Modern Family and The Office. So I don't know where it's going from there. But you have to be really into Marvel to understand what's going on and appreciate it or care. So, yeah, I'm liking it.
That makes me feel better, though. I felt like that was something that I needed to watch, and now I'm good.
Well, it's really big. I mean, it's really big. The Marvel movies are monsters. It's like, they're huge.
Morning Hope. Yep, rain in the forecast will be interesting to see, especially that Friday night game, huh? I wonder what they would do if Friday gets postponed. I don't think we've seen it in this series. If they would try to play 2 in Greenville, that would make the most sense.
I don't know.
Waddy, I don't know about that, man. What does that mean? What do you mean,
Chad.
Somebody on the text line thinks Bill was talking about Shiloh Sanders and not Ace Sanders, clearly.
That's where it came. I answered in Bradenton, Florida. I didn't get the Shiloh thing. Right, that's what I'm thinking, Hope. Chad is selling the YouTube stream better than anything else. Did you guys read that?
I know. Well, we got to put that. How do we promote that?
Clearly, we need to do a tale of a tape and have you guys do a photo shoot nose to nose.
You mean mask to mask?
Right.
I really do think Heath should be. Chad just said, when is Heath going to start live stream? I really do think he should live stream just himself for the whole 3 hours.
I'd love to see the facial reactions.
It would be awesome. Yeah.
Just do a montage of his facial reactions. Like we go out to the lunch within the first few seconds.
I would also like to see Dave have one in studio.
Yeah, Dave.
If we had to angle the gens at right now, but it was Captain Dave and Heath on just a split screen, that's all we got. That would be 3 hours of just awesome live streaming.
Micah, you gotta expound on that, sir.
It's probably not going to be good.
Raj, strong.
All right, head back in. Can you hear me better, Bill?
Yes.
A little bit better.
Yes.
I pulled
You
it.
guys are really selling this thing.
All right, guys, we're up.
Chad may be selling the live stream better than anybody I've ever seen. You guys just begging for YouTube subscribers. Chad says on the YouTube live stream, the professional rivalry between Bill and Jen keeps me coming back. It is so much better being able to see facial reactions. If you aren't subscribed, you should be. Also, when is Heath Klein going to start live streaming? Chad says, I'd love to see his facial reactions to callers.
Just tweet Heath and tell him he needs to be live streaming.
Yeah, you can bully him online, right? Just bully him.
Tweet him at Heath Radio at Heath Tweets.
45.
Hey, Gamecock Larry Posse at Heath Radio, right? That's where you can just round them up, man. Round them up and get them going, because everybody knows the Gamecock Larry Posse is known for its online bullying. Michael says, holy crap, you guys look nothing, absolutely nothing like I thought you would. And then Anonymous Raj comes in with, you should see Heath, Michael. I love the mental image
15.
combined with the radio. Michael, we need more details there. What did you think? Who would
That
look
could be
like?
hurtful.
Didn't realize I was so good looking.
5.
Hour 3 coming up. Clearly, Bill was rubbing off on Patrick.
Clear.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you for promoting the YouTube channel. Thank you.
All right.
Well done. Checks in the mail.
At least somebody gets paid, right?
Oh boy, look at Mac. Mac coming in with the facts there. I can always count on Mac for some college baseball facts. So Monday or Tuesday, not a doubleheader. I guess that does make more sense to get the gate. Wouldn't want to give away that gate at either place, at any place.
Oh, the first morning I'm not freezing.
I'm wondering though, that was, I think 2015 even was before they moved the start of the season back a week. So they have more midweek games now. So I'm wondering if that will change things, Matt. I'm sure you can give me the date when that actually happened, but I think it was, I would guess 2018. I think, KT, that's exactly what Mike is saying, especially, oh, here we go. Mike is even apologizing. No need to apologize, sir. I've been listening to you guys.
Just started.
We just started the YouTube stream. Oh, it'll be a month tomorrow. I just pretty pumped. Got the company to pay for this little deal here. The subscription to StreamYard is what we use. That's why I know it'll be a month tomorrow. I'm not like Bill and keep a weird schedule of how long we do the show and what we do. I just had pictures of you in my mind for all these years, and to see that I was way off was very funny. Oh, look at Hope updating 310 subscribers there, Patrick. Look at that.
315.
Oh, how about that?
What did we do?
So-
What are we at?
316.
Nice.
316.
So if we can appeal to people even more by letting them know you're trying to do this basically to raise money to get more than $28 in your bank account before the end of the month.
Yeah, this is my future.
That could really appeal to people.
Yeah. This is my future. I feel
By the
like
way-
Mark Zuckerberg refreshing Facebook subscribers in the social network.
It's exactly the same thing.
310.
Trey, no doubt.
That's really all it should be. It should just be a three-hour infomercial on the YouTube stream.
Worst radio ever. Yeah. Now see what happens. You see what happens here. Now Hope's demanding to be paid. Good for you, Hope. Yeah, why?
We paying donuts. We paying donuts. You know what? I told the kids the other day. It has been so long since we've had donuts.
That's true.
I mean, you're right. Like it's been apparently my donut problem came from coming to the radio station every morning.
I hear you, Jason. So we're raising money for Patrick, and then maybe we can also go online and bully our station engineer to actually hook us up for audio into this thing from the station.
That'd be cool.
Because he says, Jen, that we could just switch over to program 2 and keep the headsets on during the break. That makes sense. So
yeah.
So all you would do is just basically, instead of even turning us down or turning our mics off, you could just switch us over to
program 1. And then I better test program 3 because when I'm recording
right
traffic reports and stuff,
you can just program 3, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You get all kinds of fancy in there.
If they work, they're good.
Oh, Patrick R, that's going to be done. I'm going to send an email right now to try to get that on the website. Trey, can I be the YouTube representative to the GLP? I think there needs to be a GLP YouTube rep for sure. And a boy, nice. All right, well, Don, first text in on the YouTube stream. Just pulled over to
view the chat. You know who Don is? Very popular texter.
Oh, yeah?
Hot sauce?
Hot sauce Ross?
No.
No?
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure. There you go.
Oh, Rooster P. Rooster P. Nice. What does turn up the heat MSN mean?
I don't know. Man, heat, man. Turn up heat, man.
There we go. You're turning blue. Okay, back to business driving soon, or else I'll never get to Texas. Good call. So, if you really want to go big time, I think there are a lot of people who just have their phone on live streaming video in the car. I don't recommend that on the 18-wheeler there, sir. I'm just saying. And also, Rooster P, you can go back and watch this sucker at any point. It just archives on the YouTube page.
And if you make a YouTube account and subscribe, it'll stop your place in the video. So if you go back later, it'll just pick up right where you are.
Selling the stream. Sell it, Patrick.
I do that all the time.
At the gym, you can just go back and watch.
Yep, I do that all the time. I just rewatch our shows every day, 3 to 4 times.
Pick up pointers, tips.
Yeah. Keith is awake. He just tweeted 2 minutes ago, so you guys can go ahead and tweet him and let him know that he should be
I'm going to read you guys begging. That was from you, Bill, right? Originally?
People want Keith Gordon.
Oh, people are having a blast.
Put Jay and Pearson there. Why not, right? Bully them all.
People are having a good time this morning. Everybody's in a good mood.
Jay's always bragging about his action figures that he's got on his desk for broadcasting. He could show them off in the live stream.
Exactly.
And they should have been awake for a few hours. Heath and Jay and Pearson, all them, they've had time to do makeup and get prepared. We show up just looking like we're all natural.
We have to be going.
What you see is what you get. We don't just, the live stream doesn't just cover sports too. I see Bitcoin is tumbling below 50,000.
Ooh, time to jump in.
Yeah.
Let's head back into the open.
It's true, Waddy. Patrick's been screaming that for weeks.
No one else would go 6 hours on the live stream like us.
Yeah, if you guys are just joining the live stream, feel free. If you want to go back and really have an experience, if you're really bored, we got a 6-hour show out there. It is them.
True.
All right, guys are up.
Wow, what a phenomenon this morning. What a phenomenon this thing is becoming. We all hope all the credit, I think, online, just completely boosting the YouTube subscribers numbers on the live video stream, sponsored by Buford Lending, by the way. Thanks for joining us here at hour number 3. If you're not already on the live stream, I'm a little surprised that everyone who has mentioned that they didn't even know about this thing. I shouldn't be. That's our fault for not getting the word out. I'll put that on me, actually. Just me. My fault. Now we're moving forward.
I've been doing my
Bill's
job.
begging has turned into online bullying, I think. Where now that Patrick is peeking around the graphics on the live stream, all part of the fun. Who hit us up a little bit earlier was Chad, saying he loves to weigh in on the live video stream just to see the facial reactions and the professional rivalry of Jen and Bill here. And now we're getting some online bullying, trying to get Heath and Jay and Pearson, the other shows, in on this thing. So you can get facial reactions from Heath to callers specifically, which I think would be its own internet sensation, no doubt. I think we're all on board with that, right? Bill, I think, Bill, you might be the most dramatic with callers. You go head and hands. You put the arms up in exasperation a lot of times.
Yeah, I get agitated. Well, you say that.
A stoic Heath look.
But see, here you say that, but I just have reactions. Patrick actually talks about having to deal with callers as a producer.
Yeah. You just have physical reactions that they can't see or notice, and
Right.
I am man enough to actually tell them when they're having bad takes.
When you're being annoying.
Yeah, when they're being annoying or putting me to sleep.
Man enough on Sports Talk Radio. What a manly man Patrick is. @ Patrick Ferret, where you can find him on Twitter, by the way. I'm at SimHill1075. Bill's at Will Gunter with 1L, at Jim Jensen Morse. And the station handle, I think, is where you can actually find the video stream on Twitter, at 1075 The Game. This morning has been, I would say, a hodgepodge. Is that fair? I've been all over the map. Started with an engagement for Aaron Rodgers to Shailene Woodley. That's her name. Jim, as you were giving us a lot of information about Shailene Woodley earlier and showing your range of really entertainment news. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Divergent movies. I had forgotten the name of them. I have seen them, and then Patrick was like, "Yeah, that was a teen thing." I was like, my head immediately dropped.
Yeah, I think it was like the next big thing after Hunger Games.
Right.
Which I
that's
did
where
nothing about.
Hunger Games is great.
Ugh.
yeah,
Hunger Games
good
fan.
stuff. I recommend it
Good
as
series.
well.
Yeah.
Wait, have you not seen it, Jen, at all?
I have seen about 30 minutes. And
Okay,
it was
enough to
more
give
than-
that ugh.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Not
fair
interested.
enough.
To Hunger Games? You Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good series. It's a cool, great concept. Good idea. Jennifer Lawrence is a great actress.
Yeah, I'm sure that was exactly why you were worried about her talents.
Speaking of
what's that
facial
supposed to mean?
reactions, I'm afraid Bill might have just had some sort of physical ailment. You okay?
I don't even know what we're talking about. Hunger Games. What was the other one y'all were talking about?
Divergent.
Divergent.
I feel like y'all are probably the people that get into Maze Runner too. Maze Runner.
No, I have not seen
Nothing
that.
on Maze Runner.
I know it's another. That was another book series that they made into movies.
I haven't watched any of them, and I'm
Me neither.
proud of it.
Trey says my productivity at work would plummet from 4 to 5:30 if I got to see Heath convulsing and bad takes.
Yeah, you think I handle callers poorly that I don't?
I mean, I've produced Heath's show, and the off-air discussion of that show also needs to be on live.
If you're gonna call it,
Little
you
dominant
better
arms.
have thick skin.
Yeah, or a good take.
Right, just have a good take. That's all.
Not too
That's
much
all
to
we
ask.
Right, this morning, if we're getting into sports takes, we've been talking a little bit about the Deshaun Watson proposed trade out there. Wait a second, I'm completely thrown off now by Thomas on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Thomas, where did this come from? 803-404-6100, where he texts in? 4 words. Hey, is Jen married?
I was gonna ignore that one.
Thomas, what do you
But
know?
Tim's not. Tim's gonna go down that path.
No, I need to know where these things come from, because I started this show by saying I love the text line and its randomness sometimes. What was that? I don't even remember what that was in reference to this morning. We got a random, oh yeah, that was David, I think, right? It's 5-word text. 6-word text. anyone know how Eastern Illinois looked? We were talking about Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers and the whole thing. This was the text that David sent us. But I guess I understand where you guys are coming from. Maybe Thomas is just hitting us up on the live video stream. I don't know. Maybe Jen just said something witty a little earlier and it got him thinking and the possibilities and the whole thing. Sorry, Thomas. Jen is married.
Sorry for him, too.
For Thomas or your husband? Yeah. Good call.
Listen.
So Eastern Illinois popped up because that's the first Gamecock football opponent. And were they were supposed to play this past weekend? Is that what happened and it got postponed?
Yeah, they were supposed to play and the weather postponed it, so they moved it, I think, March 7th.
Eastern Illinois was supposed to play Middle Tennessee. Is that where we're at? Or East Tennessee? Which one was it? Tennessee, Chattanooga?
No, they were supposed to play UT Martin.
UT Martin.
Yep.
I mean, I mentioned three of them, didn't get one of them right. So, UT Martin, my apologies. You guys were competing for Eastern Illinois correspondent earlier on in the show. Patrick clearly has won this battle. Well done, sir. So that's why that popped up. And that also got us to just the football conversation in general. And Bill, you brought up, being the resident recruiting nerd on the program, that Gamecock football, Shane Beamer could get his first 2022 commitment today. And it could come from a safety down at a high school in Florida, not too far from Miami, which I don't even know if we mentioned it. You mentioned Trevon Robinson, and you thought the guy that might commit to Carolina, that may commit this afternoon, safety out of there, Rose is his last name, but because he's 6'3", 6'4"-ish, we thought that he might be kind of the player that Trevon Robinson and Will Muschamp would have brought in a little bit more. And it brought on the conversation about the guys that Will Muschamp ended up recruiting versus guys that Steve Spurrier recruited, how there are a ton of really good defensive players that Spurrier and company brought in, and actually Will Muschamp brought in more highly thought of quarterbacks in his tenure. But where the transfer portal is, Jamie Robinson at Florida State, you mentioned John Dixon up at Penn State, being pretty highly thought of right now. We'll have to wait and see a little bit about where Will Muschamp's recruits end up in their kind of evolution and how they pan out. John Dixon at Penn State and Jamie Robinson at Florida State specifically. But my question to you, and I don't think we've gotten the answer to this, is do we have to reevaluate, as those of us on the outside looking at college football programs, what happens with recruiting here over the next several months, with the dead period now extending to at least June 1st? For a guy like Shane Beamer, he called it terrible. I was listening to an interview he's doing, a podcast, I think, with someone. He thinks that Deadpool extension is terrible. For him, especially for South Carolina, you mentioned where the program is, not a national brand, selling the facilities, selling the energy of the coaching staff, not being able to bring players in physically and have them on a visit and have them in the same room. It's a difficult task for sure. How do we need to view recruiting, especially knowing that the evaluations are different? Some seasons have been postponed and moved back in high school and the whole deal. Or are you going to take your typical mindset that you normally would do?
It's different for every program, and if you're asking that question across the board, schools like Clemson and Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, no, you don't change your expectation. I think in South Carolina and Tennessee, you have to. I think the key is getting guys onto your campus. South Carolina more so because of the unknown of Clayton White's defense, the unknown of the complete unknown of Marcus Satterfield's offense. The need to win football games to entice kids. Right now you're selling a vision. And for South Carolina, at this moment in time, these things change because people build new incredible facilities yearly. South Carolina still has one of the 10 or 15 best facilities across the country. That's going to change as people add on or build or do this or do that. But they do have an incredible facility. And part of what you're trying to sell is, hey, come look at this facility. Come see what you get to train in every day. Well, it's hard to do a Zoom tour and really grasp what you're working with. I think there's a lot of people out there, if you're looking to buy a house and you get on the internet, you get on one of the web pages and you do the virtual tour through a house. It's not the same as being able to go in and walk and see the bedroom or see the closet or see whatever it may be. It's entirely different. And that's tough for South Carolina. That's tough for Justin Stepp. That's tough for Torian Gray. That's tough for doing something to get guys on campus. They're doing the best they can. I'm not trying to say that they're not, but what I am saying is that's really tough for them to be able to do, is sell your program right now, who's 6-16 over the last 2 years. Nationally is as irrelevant as it's been since probably pre-Lou Holtz. It's tough. And the way you change that is by creating relationships, getting kids on campus, being able to sit down and talk to them and their family, showcase the facility, showcase kids what Williams-Brice Stadium looks like, what it's like running out to 2001, and they're not able to do that. Yeah, my expectation for this recruiting class does change drastically from if they were able to have junior days right now. And Torian Gray, a perfect example. Torian Gray is involved with Sam McCall, a 5-star defensive back out of Lakeland, Florida. He was committed to Florida while Torian Gray was there. As soon as Gray left, he decommitted from Florida. His tie, much like Gunnar Stockton's was to Mike Bobo, Sam McCall's tie is to Torian Gray. But he has no knowledge really of what South Carolina is. Gray can walk around, and Jessica Jackson can walk around. They can show Sam McCall, who would be a big, obviously, it's South Carolina and Alabama right now. You're going against South Carolina and Alabama. This is a kid that Alabama wants. This is a top 30 player nationally. You can walk this kid around with a computer screen, or you can send him a video and show him the weight room and show him the locker room and the barber shop and the players' lounge. It's not the same as getting him on campus, being able to spend time with him. And so, with Alabama, that kid knows what he's getting, right? You're not necessarily going there.
We've heard the pitch.
You know exactly. Yeah. So it's tough. It's tough for him. So I do change my expectation for South Carolina.
And then what I'm hearing is you're lowering the expectation
right now. Yeah,
I think
Until
my original question, I think, was less that, Bill, than more of, do we change the way that we look at these guys? Does the question mark, which I always think is very big outside of maybe a handful of 5-star guys in the country, I always put a question mark at the end of starters and say, you don't know. I get it, you evaluate it, but there's so many guys that miss, that are highly evaluated or highly thought of coming out of high school, and just don't, that the question mark is always there for me. And this year, that question mark grows larger, I think, because of the situation that we're all in here in the last 11 months, because the evaluation process, to me, just from the outside looking in, seems to be less informed than it has been in years past. Is that fair? Just because of the lack of camps, the lack of junior days, the lack of physical visits on campus, it seems like you have less information in recruiting than you've ever had. Is that not how it is, or is that just whitewashing it a little bit too much in your opinion?
I think that's an interesting question, because when I look at two coaches in particular on South Carolina staff, when you are Justin Stepp or you're Torian Gray, you're not necessarily just recruiting the next class. You're having to recruit like 2 classes ahead, if that makes sense. So I do think those two coaches in particular, and Shane Beamer also, because he was in Oklahoma, is able to maybe have a better feel for guys that are coming up that they know about. But I also think your point is very valid. There's kids you haven't been able to properly evaluate in the manner that you want, to get them on campus, to watch them, to go visit with them in person, to go watch their film. Again, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, the big-time programs are going to be able to pick and choose kind of who they want. Programs right now they're trying to build, it is a lot more difficult for them, because you rely on your evaluations and hoping to hit on a few players like a Devin Taylor or a DJ Swearinger or a Ace Sanders, guys that weren't as highly thought of, that went on to have really good careers, that turned South Carolina's program around.
So that right there, the last 10 minutes or so, is an example of how, if you're looking for the standard sports talky hot takes, we got that for you on this show. We got a resident recruiting nerd there in Bill Gunter. Patrick's right there. He's our self-proclaimed NFL draft analyst. We got all that for you. Also, we have the dysfunction that is this text line that I mentioned. Thomas out of nowhere asking if Jen's married. Now Greg comes back and says, I know where that guy was coming from regarding Jen being married. I didn't realize her Twitter handle had Morse on the end of it. I always just heard her referred to as Jen Jensen. Love the show. Keep up the good work. How was that? That was no explanation.
How does that even a sign that she's married? How do you just automatically knew her maiden name too? Like,
and then I give Ted a lot more credit on the text line. He just texted in 4 words. Jen, sup? You up? At 8:09 a.m. Well done. Well done. See what happens when you start begging for YouTube subscribers, people?
this is coming to the text line though.
It's true. It's infiltrating our entire show. We need to reset. We'll continue this Carolina Clemson. You guys are getting this wrong, Bill. I cannot agree with your gas baggy hot take on the importance of the Clemson series, and I'm going to have to be that baseball nerd and actually give you guys some facts and history involved in this thing. And KT says Jen needs her own text line. I don't think Jen wants any part of that. I think that's just lawsuits waiting to happen, people. It's just kind of the show, actually. Good call as well. 803-404-6100 if you would like to text in to our text line on the show, or you can call us on the Love Chevy phone lines, same number as well. Let's see if we can get Patrick interested in the last 40 minutes of the show where he usually peters out. Bill's stretching, so he's ready to go. It's the early game. It's 107.5. The question is, do I have
Bathroom break.
a little zero res here? Is that 840? Oh, 840 this morning. Good. This is awesome. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run upstairs real quick too. Patrick, this is all you. I'm gonna give you the stage here.
It's nothing but hot takes on the ground.
Right.
I'm
Can you assume the responsibility of the live stream here for a minute or two?
yes,
got
I
it?
can.
All right,
Well,
good luck.
somebody needs whoever's got the stream on. Okay, it was actually Tim, because every time I start talking, I echo in the background of Tim's computer because he has something going on. I'm looking at Jesse's question about the Syracuse-Virginia lacrosse game, which is going to be sweet. It's going to be Syracuse midfield versus the Virginia attack. Virginia might triple pole Syracuse in the midfield because they got by far the best midfield unit in the country. But I'm looking at the lacrosse slate for this weekend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 Division I lacrosse games this weekend. That is going to be beautiful. And Clemson, so I'll be in the studio all weekend working these baseball games, just streaming lacrosse, watching Clemson, Carolina. It's going to be sweet. Wagner plays Long Island University at noon. Definitely going to watch that. Who's Maryland play? Ooh, Maryland's got Penn State on Friday night under the lights in Bird Stadium. Let's go. Love it. 330. 330 subscribers. Let's go. It's been a great day. I am fading, though. I think that's pretty evident on the live stream. You guys can see me slowly fade because I work the night job and I'm very tired. The coffee is worn off. Ohio State playing someone decent. Who's Ohio State playing? Rutgers. Yeah, Rutgers actually is supposed to be really good this year. Ohio State looked freaking awesome against Johns Hopkins. They pummeled Johns Hopkins. How did I get into lacrosse? I'm from Maryland, so I grew up playing lacrosse, and I played in college and ended up coming down here. And nobody plays lacrosse down here, so I don't have very many people to talk to about it, so I like when you guys mention it in the stream.
Gamecock Larry's not feeling well.
Did he call in, or did someone call in on his behalf?
They texted in.
Oh, man.
I don't like to hear that.
Not after
I love when
not
he's all
after the energy
pumped up.
from yesterday, yeah.
Might have overexerted himself yesterday.
Thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes? I'm glad they're not in the Capitals division this year, Waddy. Metro's already a monster, and Carolina's really good, and Tampa Bay is really, really good. So that's tough.
Hurricanes are rolling. I was up there this weekend. They lost
sweet.
last night. Lost to the Lightning last night.
It's gonna be, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be so hard to make the playoffs this year for every team. These divisions are just wild. It's a lot of fun, but it's not gonna be able to last. I mean, who was it? Columbus and no, not Columbus. Arizona. Oh, St. Louis and Arizona played 7 consecutive games against each other this year because of these divisions.
Yeah. Well, the Lightning played the Hurricanes Saturday night, and then they turned around and played last night. I was kind of ticked off it wasn't on television last night. It was on like ESPN Plus.
I mean, you are a sports radio host. You should have ESPN Plus, Bill.
I don't know.
Dude,
I haven't messed with it.
You can get ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu for $12.99 a month together, all of them. It's a bargain.
I gotta make a little bit more coffee. That's right now hot spoken for.
Yeah, the Hurricanes are a wagon. Them and Tampa are going to be battling it out all year for that to win that division.
So Tim,
Florida's nasty too.
I'll tell you after the show.
Yeah, Bill, $5 a month. Now that you don't do Creamer, you can do ESPN Plus. You cut out the Creamer cost, and you can use it for ESPN Plus.
True. I think we're on something like this is like week 4 of no Creamer.
Okay.
Straight black.
You gotta get
Wow.
ESPN Plus. It's 100% worth
All
it.
right, well, we're heading in.
All right.
Patrick, I was going to give you grief for taking over the live video stream during the break and going straight to lacrosse. The lacrosse question was asked, and then Trey just asked me about my most treasured item on my shelf, and I went into what I thought was a pretty emotional diatribe about the first baseball game I ever went to, and that was on mute on the live stream. So there you go. It happens. It is free, people. You're not paying for the live stream. To subscribe to YouTube, you don't even have to pony up any money. All you got to do is click a little button. And we were shamelessly begging for that this morning. And Hope has been our leader here, and has really, I think, garnered a lot of support. What are we up to now, Patrick? Do you know, as you're refreshing this thing?
I'm checking right
Like,
now.
Patrick,
He's going to be happy with this number.
showing his age.
333.
How about that?
That's
What
huge.
a YouTube subscriber drive we've been on this morning. It's just been shameless and sad, but it's been fun too.
And how many will drop off, within the next 2 days?
Whoa.
Oh,
Negativity
we
comes
need to triple. We need to triple that. Not to be thankless, but my favorite subscriber is the next one.
Strong,
You
Patrick.
two are just something else.
Cool Care Heating and Air text line this morning, 803-404-6100. Bobby hits us up. We're having a relatively sports talk discussion in the last segment about recruiting. And Bill giving us the heads up, being the resident recruiting nerd that he is, that Carolina football, Shea Beamer might get his first 2022, the class of 2022 recruit to commit later on today, a safety out of South Florida area. That is part of a high school team that apparently the coach staff offered the entire secondary, which is unheard of, I think, right? In college recruiting. Bill, have you ever heard of a high school secondary? All of those guys? I've never heard of that. It reminds me of the Richland Northeast secondary, had Gary Gray and Mark Barnes in that same class probably 15 years ago, maybe more, showing my age. But
I think
that was
Patrick
talented.
Surtain and Tyson Campbell were high school teammates.
Right, but we're just talking about 2, not 4.
Yeah, just 2.
The entire secondary is pretty ridiculous. So that was the sports talk discussion, and then Bobby hit us up on the text line there saying, isn't the recruiting situation the same across the country? They're all evaluating from the same tape or same videos. And yeah, that was my point in asking you, Bill. Do we as fans from the outside looking in, or people from the outside looking in, need to kind of reevaluate how maybe the challenges or the college football recruiting situation is, how seriously my point is, maybe you even take the evaluation that you're getting from your recruiting service or what your coaching staff is doing specifically with an even bigger question mark than in years past, just because the opportunities to evaluate these guys are fewer and far between, and some seasons have been disrupted in the whole thing. And I wasn't trying to say that it's different specifically for South Carolina, Bobby. I think you're right on my point that it is different all across the country to some degree. Wanted to give a shout out. Root Hog hit us up on the text line as well, saying Gamecock Larry not feeling so good this morning. So certainly want to give him a little shout out. Any words of encouragement on the text line at 404-6100 or on the live stream? I'll pass those along. We'll get Gamecock Larry going.
I just talked to him.
This morning.
He just called.
Okay. Good news.
Yes, and he was not going to go on. He said he was not feeling that well, but he said that he will be calling Thursday morning to start the Clemson trash talk. So
okay,
he's resting up for that.
And Gamecock Larry is the ultimate professional. This gets us right back to where I wanted to go in this segment anyway, about the Carolina-Clemson baseball rivalry. Bill, your previous hot take was the Gamecocks got to take 2 out of 3 here, especially with the SEC slate looming and the challenges that of being what it is. That's what's got to happen. And I think that is such a football mentality in baseball. It just doesn't make sense. And the obvious best example is the 2010 season. The Gamecocks won their first national championship that year. Does anybody remember what happened in the regular season with the Clemson series? I would say very few of us do. And then I'll go one step further and remind you exactly what happened that year. Clemson won that series for the first time in 5 years. And they won it in Columbia on Sunday with a 19-6 win. And Carolina went on to win the national championships via 2 wins out in Omaha against Clemson. In a college baseball regular season where you got 56 games, Bill, there is no have-to-have series in February, man. It just doesn't make any sense. I get that it's a big rivalry, and certainly the Gamecocks want to win it, and the fan base would love it. But we also saw just 2 years ago how little a Clemson series win can mean to Carolina baseball. They ended the streak and won that thing, and then didn't do anything in the SEC. It looks like you are now very unimpressed with my gas baggy hot take, and you have fallen asleep as you're looking out on Lake Murray.
Yeah,
it's Clemson. You need the bragging rights for a year. For that reason alone, everything's going poorly right now. You need to beat Clemson, just for morale.
Why you're giggling, Bill?
All right. Well, 2 things. Let me get to this. Remember early we started the show and Patrick just spewed NFL takes everywhere, just hot takes everywhere. We talked about how excited he was. He said, "Well, sooner or later y'all gonna talk baseball, and I have to sit here and be quiet." So you were addressing me, and you breathed, and Patrick just jumped in. It was like, "I got to speak, otherwise I may be out because let me get this in there."
No, I think he's just really inspired this morning by the uptick of YouTube subscribers.
I think he is.
I just hate Clemson. I want to be Clemson.
I agree completely with Patrick on this. It's the Clemson series you got to win. But I also think it matters more that the teams you're comparing it to, South Carolina baseball back in 2011, and what you're talking about, it was a different program at the time. I'll even go as far as to say the dominance that they had over Clemson, was totally different at that time and where that program is. This program's not the same. It's not the same. They need to win games, like they need to win series, like they need to beat the rival. You've got to. Who's the more dominant program in the state right now?
In baseball, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to give the edge to Clemson.
Okay. I don't think you could say that in 2010 and 2011, and then certainly by 2012, you definitely couldn't say it. There was no question. It was hands down. Clemson may have. You can make the case that Clemson has regained the foothold in this baseball rivalry, and that's one of the reasons you've got to win this series. Mark Kingston is in year 4. I'm now so thrown off because of last year, but it's year 4. This is a big series. Remember, we started to get on Chad Holbrook a little bit, saying you got to win the series. Now you're right; he won it. He won the series, and I think they ended up not making the playoffs that year, the NCAA tournament. But this is a big one.
Lost me there.
Now, see, all my years are starting to get. This is when you feel you start to get old. I want to say it was 2015 or 2016. He turned around. It might have been 2016. I think it might have been his last year, to be honest with you. It might have been his last year, and they ended up not going up. But I understand what you're saying. But this series right now, for Gamecock fans in particular, big picture, making the NCAA tournament, accomplishing the goals that South Carolina wants to accomplish, I'm with you. But for a fan base right now, that you've got to keep the heat off of yourself, because unfortunately for Mark Kingston, what's happened with football, what's going on with basketball, Mark Kingston has to have this series. You can't show up on Monday morning. People are so angered already. And when you start throwing in the fact that it looks like, at least as we go into the weekend, that Clemson has maybe gotten a step ahead of South Carolina baseball, it's a monster series. Now, you're right. You can't base your season on the Clemson series. You can't win this series and go, well, that's it. Pack it all up. We've had a successful year. Call it a season. If we don't make the tournament, it's fine. No, you still got to make the tournament. But this is a big point here for Mark Kingston's baseball program.
I will respond to your have to have it.
Yeah, by the way, you're responding to both Patrick and I. Don't just respond to me. Respond to the carrot down there. He's fired up too. Yeah. There you go.
Or what? If South Carolina loses, or what? They have to win, or what? Like my point earlier was, you turn around and you go to Texas and you win that series.
People will be happy. People will be happy, but you still, those people don't get to go to Easter and brag to their cousins or relatives or friends or whoever and tell them, hey, we beat you in baseball. We hadn't seen you. We hadn't played you in baseball, football, or basketball in a year. There's few South Carolina, Texas families that are going to intermingle at Easter. There'll be a lot of South Carolina Clemson families that will intermingle. I know I've got to deal with the Coopers, with my Uncle David and Aunt Shirley, with my cousins Robert and Paul, huge Clemson fans. I want to be able to go to Easter, and I want to be able to throw a piece of ham at them and say, take that. We just whipped you in baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe a deviled egg, too. Just throw a deviled egg at them.
When's the last time Clemson beat South Carolina in anything, right?
Exactly.
In a year.
Right.
So that's kind of against your point.
So South Carolina wins this series, you can say, you guys haven't beaten us in anything in well over a year.
That's right.
So you guys are just being selfish and taking it to your own personal lives. I'm trying to evaluate this thing baseball-wise.
Yeah, you can still win a championship if you don't beat Clemson, but, I mean, people are just down in the dumps right now. They need something good to happen, and beating Clemson is good. It's that simple.
No doubt about that, but did you not see what happened over the weekend? Wes Clark can't be stopped and just hits home runs every other at bat.
All right, so do it against Clemson and we're good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's where your football mentality is wrong for baseball. You're not good if you win 2 out of 3 against Clemson. It doesn't get you anything, except you guys get to go have bragging rights with your favorite. That's it. That's all it gets you. In 2010, I went back and looked at this thing. You guys want to know where Carolina was ranked in the preseason?
They were.
2010, where they were in the national championship. Yeah, 28th is what I'm looking at in this top 40 preseason rankings. where Clemson was ranked 16th. So you could argue, Bill, I know you mentioned the programs and the perceptions, but actually this year, independently, South Carolina is the better baseball program. They're ranked higher right now. Higher preseason rank. I think we.
So then that means it's definitely a must-win. You can't lose to a lesser program.
Or what, Bill? Or you turn around and you go win
Jeff,
at
this isn't
Texas.
about the season. This isn't. You're making this about the season at large.
About baseball, right?
You're right. You're right. The Texas series doesn't matter in that vein. The Dayton series doesn't matter. The Mercer series doesn't matter. They all matter together. All of those series matter together. The SEC, there's no one SEC series that you look at and say, all right, got to win this one, because they all matter together. All 30 games matter. That's not the case with Clemson. It's 3 games, and you better win it. It all comes. I mean, this is your rival. Clemson fans are holding a lot of things over South Carolina's head right now. It would be nice to turn the tide a little bit and get one back and be able to brag a little bit. And then what happens the rest of the season? You're right. This is not a season-defining series. What it is, though, is one that can get your fan base really on your side and build a little bit of credit and give you a little bit of extra credit if something goes wrong later in the season. You can't say that for any other series.
Except I don't believe that in this series.
I'm with
at all.
Jesse on the live stream. Jesse's right.
If we don't beat Clemson, we riot.
Oh, no.
Even if you do beat Clemson and you don't go on to have postseason success, nobody's going to be happy with Mark Kingston.
Ask this question. If there's one series this year that Gamecock fans say they have to win, what is it? Is it Florida? I'm saying Clemson.
And you're
I'm saying Clemson. But I'm saying it's Clemson. But if there's one series this year that you, the fan, have circled and said we got to win that one,
right? And I'm saying
that's why it's a must win.
No, that question alone is a football fan mentality in a sport where that mentality can't exist. It can exist, but it's the wrong way to look at it. The right way to look at it is in its entirety, like you were talking about, Bill. There is no one series that you have to win.
Oh, he's gone. He's out.
He dumped off the live stream.
We cross each other about 7:30, like going down and it's because now I even fixed a little bit more coffee. But it's a big series. You can't lose. Don't lose, or it's like Jesse said, we riot.
This is the only sport we play Clemson in this year. That definitely does. That was my point originally this morning. I think that this year it does feel like there is even more extra stuff around the rivalry between the fans, for sure. But I'm just trying to give you out there some words of wisdom and some historical perspective about the significance of this series in the regular season. Ultimately, it does not define your season at all. Very, very small way defines your season. Now, it's going to define how you feel this weekend. I get that. And it has more importance, I think, in how Gamecock fans feel, especially right now. I get that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not trying to take away from it at all. I'm just trying to put it in perspective as we sit here this morning. And that kind of defines the show, I think. Though that's the first time we've been yelling at each other for a while. That was fun.
We're all fired up.
Patrick on the same side?
YouTube update, 344.
Let's go.
It's impressive.
340.
Going.
What's your number, Patrick, that will make you pleased, that you'll be satisfied with by the end of the show?
I can tell you that. Oh, no. 1,001.
Today?
Just by the end of the show, yeah.
Well, the 8 o'clock hour is our biggest hour. 360.
Okay.
Oh.
So we need, how much was that? You said 344?
16 more.
Okay.
16 more. 16 more in 16 minutes, yeah.
Oh, we can do it. How about that? Tell all your friends or just go and make some fake email accounts and push a button.
Use your work emails.
You don't have to do it. Right, whatever you need.
Scam the system as best you can just for our egos.
Amen.
Jeff, you're asking for rational takes, Tim. It's not going to happen on the Clemson week. Good point. Very good point. It's the early game here. It's 175 again.
Fair.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I got about 30 seconds here, and then I get to do a little commercial.
Yeah, accidentally, I went to
Patrick got it.
update the YouTube page and updated the log. Hit refresh on the wrong page.
Nice.
All right. We switched. I
Big
went
day at
from
my
golf
house.
and wellness.
6-year-old birthday. Just went up to give the 6-year-old a birthday hug and the whole thing, and then tried to get the 8-year-old involved. The 6-year-old was taking the cereal bowl back to the sink. The 8-year-old hugs the 6-year-old. The cereal spills in the kitchen. Of course. So then we got to teach the 8-year-old the whole thing, and it's sick. Actually, the tiles are looking good at my house because they have been refreshed recently by Zero Res. Tiles in the bathroom, same deal. The carpet and the area rug we have in our living room looking really good because Zero Res has been out to our house a couple of times, done a great job cleaning all that stuff. But the main reason we have Zero Res out to my house is because we have nothing to worry about when it comes to our kids. Those are just the 2 older ones. We got the younger one now, almost 1, waddling around all over the place, eating things, everything. You know how that goes at that age, right? It's brutal. But we had nothing to worry about with Zero Res coming out to clean the carpet. No harsh chemicals involved in their patented powered water system. No lefty residue. Our carpets have stayed cleaner longer. Zero Res is who we trust at our house. You can as well, and not just at your home. If you have a business, you're in charge of a business, get their commercial cleaning division out there. They're working day and night, businesses all over the Midlands, cleaning and sanitizing, following all those CDC guidelines, and they will do the same for you. You will be the hero at your business or at your home. I can tell you from personal experience when you get Zero Res out to your home or business. And right now they have a great deal for you. $109 will get you 3 rooms of carpet clean when you mention me, Tim Hill. Schedule that Zero Res cleaning today, 803-262-4020. Book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. It's Zero Res. Spell it back or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
That's what I'm going to just start doing. When I get fed up, I'm just jumping out of the live stream. I've had enough.
I'm not showing you guys my face. I'm mad.
353. 355.
All right. Patrick is so pumped this morning. I'm glad you guys can see his eyes. Oh, Trey is now subscribed. Attaboy, Trey. Different Trey. The only sport we play Clemson in this year. Jim, we're talking about this
academic year. Academic year.
Jim, you know what we're talking about. Come on. Greg says I agree. Chad, good point. I'm all about the live stream, but you can't grow if Bill just turns it off when he gets angry.
That's what I was saying. Now from now on, I just get angry. I'm going to storm away.
Worked for me yesterday.
Just cover the camera like this. I'll show you guys. You can't even look at me now.
That would be childish to do.
Tim and Shape and YouTuber number 336. Well done.
We're stagnant at 355 right now. I haven't gained a follower in over a minute.
Oh, boy. Jim, my resident audio streamer says that audio stream is down.
I didn't do it, ma'am.
What's that?
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't do it. You can check on it, though, correct? I'll just send an email out if that's it.
That is correct, Waddy. It is punishment to not to get to see this beautiful face. I shaved last night, too. Cleaned up the beard. About time for a haircut. I got to get my stylist, Candace Dowie. I guess I got to start setting up every 2-week appointments.
Why?
Also, just because it's stupid and I find it funny, that Progressive commercial with Jamie, they do the Zoom call, and he's like, sorry, I'm late. had to work on my luscious mane, my beard. And you're like, you know what a beard is?
So, Jen, is that streamed down? The audio? Can you check?
I just hit it to send it to it. So I don't know if it is or not. I can try to listen.
I see that you hit the switch there. Thanks.
Man, I can't even lie to you. You know.
You can lie all you want.
Yeah, we busted though. That's not fun.
Did you guys see the game time for USC women's basketball on Thursday?
1 o'clock.
1 p.m. What a world.
So is there no halftime show?
There'll be some of it. I don't know how we're going to do it exactly. I haven't talked to the guys yet.
They're going to live stream.
They have to do.
their video.
They have to do a live stream for the whole game. Yeah,
Yeah.
have to.
That would be amazing.
Jesse, I do love the progressive. Is that to becoming your parents? That one's hilarious.
The only good ones. That's the best commercial on television, Jesse. Not even close. Other than the website or Alexa, is there another option for streaming during the day? iHeartRadio. I think a lot of people do it on that. What's the TuneIn Radio app? Bunch of audio options there, sir. So tune in, iHeartRadio, 107bythegame.com, Alexa, Siri. I don't know if Siri works.
Siri is not.
356, Patrick. 356.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ha, it dumped out again. Podbean? Sure, Craig, sure.
Why does Bill not know how to work things? What's going on here?
No, I've got the YouTube page and the StreamYard up side by side.
Oh.
And so I'm just bouncing back and forth. And so all I'm doing is I thought I clicked on the YouTube page to refresh it to see if we picked up another subscriber. And I'll just do it so quick that I don't see that I just instantly do it. All it does is it just pops right back up and I hit sign right back
It's
in.
the point where it's just too much. Just too much for Billy can't handle.
No, I got to create some separation between the two pages on all the little tabs. How many tabs, serious question, how many tabs do you guys have open at the top?
10 right
That's
now.
a personal question, Bill.
10?
I'm there.
Right now, 10, yeah.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I'm 10.
I got 7.
8.
Okay, so you have the least.
So I
restricted.
actually,
That was a fun little
so
game.
that's my problem. I need more, and I need to move my 107.5 the game tab, the YouTube page further away from the.
I mean, I have the stream right in the middle. I've been going to both sides of it nonstop. It's actually sandwiched between Twitter and the text line, so I'm just popping between all of them.
Yeah, but I don't have to hit
Like
refresh
this.
on Twitter or the text line.
I can just see it as Patrick was describing it. His ADD. This is your ADD dream. Is that what you're saying? I think you're being fed. We're enabling your ADD right now. It looks like. That sound right?
My ADD or Bill's ADD?
Yours. You were getting way too excited about that, hopping back and forth.
Yeah. I like seeing what people have to say.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, we subscribe to the guy. A lot of things to look at right now.
That way.
357.
Tim
357.
Appreciate you trying. He's trying to hurry and make a few accounts so Patrick can get his goal. Well done. Where are we at, Bill?
353. Oh.
Whoa. John says he's got probably 30 tabs open between 4 screens. Yikes.
Four screens, baller. Are they all connected? I love
Wait,
when
was
you
he-
can just slide one thing.
But no,
across.
is he talking about him or is he talking about us? Because there's 4 of us, 4
Oh, yeah,
screens.
maybe. Yep.
And
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
that's
added
probably
up
what he's doing,
all of it,
Man.
John, we were trying to give you some credit there for making us feel a lot better. Yeah. We are all here with way too many tabs and screens. And Tim A. also added, I'm here with a mountain of work and I'm making YouTube accounts.
Hey, boy. Good job.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Back to that gas baggy hot take there about the Clemson and Carolina series. Another Tim weighs in as a Clemson fan. I hope you don't win, but morale does a lot for a team, I think. If they lose, not only does it fit down, so do the players to an extent. Losing to a rival can hurt your team. Well, it certainly can. But maybe you didn't hear that 2010 example where the Gamecocks lost 2 out of 3 to Clemson. Lost the last one 19-6. And turned around and won the national championship that year. So, again, I think that is a football mentality to baseball. And Billy Watt.
I just X'd out. I just X'd out of the YouTube page. I can't. They're side by side, and I'm just doing it too quickly. South Carolina needs some.
John does say now.
I'll say this: we haven't.
John says that 30 tabs was on his 4 screens.
Oh, okay.
Well done, John. And welcome.
We haven't brought it up today. We've talked about the Clemson series. Obviously, South Carolina plays baseball today. Winthrop, I believe, was it 4:05, 4 o'clock? Is it a TBS start time? 4:05.
TBS?
That's why I could.
TBS start time?
I don't know why I thought 4:05. Maybe I'm just still stuck on TBS time. But 4 o'clock today. They kind of win that one to keep positive momentum going. Right? Beat Winthrop today. It's gonna be a nice day too.
360.
Patrick, congratulations. Tim A.
Thank you,
everyone. The credit there.
Thank you. Tomorrow we hit 500. That's the goal.
This guy, you give him an inch, man. You give the kid an inch.
We're never satisfied.
That's right.
That's no breaks. There you go.
Oh, there went 3 subscribers.
Clear.
Oh, that was fun. And on the live stream, the fun never ends. Except here in a minute when I hit this in broadcast button. I'm all asleep stretch.
No,
well done.
not yet.
Bill gave me the serious look like you have to take care of business there, Bill. Everything all right?
Yeah, apparently. Well, I got 2 kids that are sick. They're throwing up, so I don't know. That's why I will not have them tomorrow morning. So I'll be here all show, but I may have them Wednesday night.
Just so maybe
we'll talk
Thursday
about that
morning.
all there. I forgot we're still on live stream.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's concerned about that.
Chad, good call. Today was fun. The more of you that interact on the show, the more fun it is, for sure. 500 by Wednesday. Look at that hashtag. Well done. Patrick, now you got to start. Now you have to do it on social media and get it going, the 500 by Wednesday hashtag. Bill's got to see your marketing skills, man. See what you got. KT wins for staying with us all 3 hours. Well done, sir. That's how it's done. Waddy, not a bad first hour. You guys have a great day as well. Any parting words?
Have a great day. Mid-60s, everybody. Short sleeves and shorts. Maybe some sandals.
Jen, I think you need to sign off every live stream with your signature phrase now. Okay, whatever.
Okay, whatever.